Holy celebrations, Tiku bhai. And as you can see, chat, it's Gukesh versus Aravindh. And भाई क्या opening? Did we see another E4 D6? Tiku bhai, क्या था opening?
nahi, nahi actually. So finally, Arvind has changed his opening. So he plays the
Okay,
Sicilian today. आता है
बढ़िया.
knight f3, g6, c3, d5, check, मारा मारा, e5, d4, and यहाँ पे f6 एक move खेली अरविंद ने. And now Gukesh does not take, he just castles, मार दिया, and अब मारा. So quite an interesting position, chat. Basically, usually you would love to have the light square bishop in these structures to attack. But Rakesh bhai, I mean, मतलब मुझे तो घंटा पता है पोजीशन के बारे में, so आप बताओ.
भाई मैं भी close ही हूँ. But it looks like, Arvind has to play pawn to e6 at some point. क्योंकि ना नहीं तो गुकी का pawn e6 पे आ जाएगा. And that's a big problem for Guki. For Arvind, sorry.
Yeah. एंड चैट आज थोड़ा लो एनर्जी में, तो प्लीज पार्डन मी. एंड आज होपफुली इंडियन प्लेयर्स हाई एनर्जी में होंगे. एंड कैन वी हैव अ लुक एट दोस डिप्रेसिंग स्टैंडिंग्स वंस, जस्ट टू गेट अ बिट ऑफ एंगर इन मी गोइंग एंड थोड़ा ताकत आ जाए. एंड राकेश भाई, एनी थॉट्स कि चल क्या रहा है, व्हाट इज गोइंग रॉन्ग एज वी हैव गॉन मोर देन हाफ वे थ्रू प्राग मास्टर्स?
Tiku bhai, I just hope I have switched from Europe to India. So Guki and Arvind, I hope they switch from the bottom half to the top half here. And ho sakta hai bhai, just they're one win away. I feel one win and everything changes.
Yeah, one win and everything changes. But the standings won't change. I think we are still going to have the players on the right half of the standings, Rakesh bhai, unfortunately, even if they win. But okay, one of them will likely win, yeah? So it is Gukesh versus Arvind. Both of them not happy. Both of them in tied last place. And yeah, you can see Gukesh, yeah? Now you can already see, like, hota nahi hai, I've had this situation before. When you're not happy with your play, you don't even sometimes feel like looking at the board.
Yeah, yeah. And bhai, both of the players have thought for almost 12 minutes. But the most important thing is Jordan Van Foreest, who's reached 2750. He is at the back and he is observing all these games, Tiku bhai.
भाई अगर यॉर्डन अगले 3 गेम ना खेले, तब जाके हम लोग कैचअप कर सकते हैं उससे. सो जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ फार अहेड ही इज राइट नाउ. सो आई थिंक योर, आई मीन, इंडियंस विनिंग द इवेंट इज ऑलरेडी like 0% chance, yeah?
Correct. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, आज बहुत साइलेंट कमेंट्री होगी चैट, बिकॉज एज वी डिस्कस दोनों की लगी हुई है. मीनवाइल, एंड आई मीन अस द कमेंटेटर्स, प्लेयर्स की अलग लगी है, वो मुझे पता है. But Bishop G7, Rakesh bhai, I think black will likely play knight at 6. But the pieces look a bit weird, yeah, for Arvind. But maybe he's used to playing with these structures.
Yeah, but that would allow Guki to get like a big advantage in the opening, Tiku bhai.
What would Rakesh bhai allow him?
क्या होगा?
How will he get the advantage?
नहीं, अगर white का pawn e6 पे आ गया, I think I'll
Ah,
I'll prefer white's position.
sure. That's a fair point. I think e6 basically blocks the king side, king completely. King, I mean the queen side and the king side. It disconnects to some respects. Rakesh bhai, मुझे हंसी बहुत आ रही है. I don't know why.
Oh,
आज कमेंट्री कम भजन ज्यादा लग रहा है यार मुझे. By the way, Arvind has an accuracy of 100% so far. राकेश भाई कुछ बोल लो.
नहीं नहीं, मैं देख रहा था कितना
अच्छा,
परसेंट है.
अच्छा, अच्छा. और चैट, क्या हाल चाल भाई? हाउ आर यू भाई? क्राइंग साल नहीं, क्राइंग नहीं भाई, आई एम जस्ट वेरी वेरी सिक. क्या हाल चाल है चैट? हाउ आर यू? हाउ वाज होली? कलर
या
वलर लगाया
टीकू
किसी।
भाई, आपको
हाँ।
और चैट को वेरी वेरी हैप्पी होली बाय द वे।
थैंक्स राकेश भाई। दिस इज अ ड्रॉ। अच्छा कंफर्म है क्या?
Hopefully, if this is a draw, that's great news.
हाउ इज इट ग्रेट न्यूज़? तो राकेश भाई दोनों 2 पॉइंट पे लास्ट में रहेंगे।
अरे नहीं, बट स्ट्रीम तो फटाफट खत्म होगी ना भाई।
अच्छा। डैम यार, आई एम नॉट इवन सिक। मैं कुछ अभी बोलने वाला था स्ट्रीम पे गलत। मीनवाइल डिड आई से आई एम नॉट इवन सिक? आई मींट आई एम रियली सिक। डैम, अंग्रेजी भी भूल गया हूं मैं। राकेश भाई,
That
व्हाट्स हैपनिंग विद दिव्यास पोजीशन हियर?
let me check quickly.
दिव्या तो स्ट्रेचिंग कर
I
रही है
th
भाई। आई थिंक शी इज लाइक जोनिंग इनटू द पोजीशन एंड टाइम पे काफी पीछे।
Yeah, and she had like a not a very easy rest day because there was, I think, like a winter Olympics ski medalist who did like a few events, and Divya was part of that. So Divya के पास preparation का इतना time नहीं था, टिको भाई, but it looks like her position is not bad at all. टिको भाई, आप कुछ बोल रहे थे क्या? आवाज नहीं आ रही, सॉरी सॉरी, वेट, होल्ड ऑन। समझ में आपको आ रही है? और शुड आई चेंज माय सेटिंग्स? हाँ, टिको भाई की आवाज
अच्छा मैं
नहीं आ रही
म्यूटेड हूँ
भाई।
भाई, सॉरी। मैं तब से बोल रहा हूँ मैं
एग्जैक्टली
म्यूटेड हूँ।
एग्जैक्टली।
अरे भाई, सॉरी यार
भाई
भाई, मैं बोल रहा था, मैं कह रहा हूँ कोई जवाब ही नहीं दे रहा है भाई, क्या सीन है?
वही, आपका आवाज ही नहीं आ रहा है टिको भाई। क्या
भाई
लगता है
वो,
गुकी खेलेगा E6, पॉन टू E6?
भाई सिक्स, अच्छा यू मीन वाइट्स, अच्छा स्पॉन सैक डायरेक्टली यू मीन? ओ वाओ।
या गो फॉर इट, गो फॉर इट, गो ऑल आउट। या रुकी वन, एंड देन नाइट A3, बिशप G5।
I mean, definitely a possibility, but I think Gukesh will have to be sure. And knowing कि Arvind has gone for this, maybe he could be prepared because 100% accuracy भी है. So it's not going to be easy for Gukesh because pressure में होगा ना. Like, if, imagine if he loses this, like I don't even know like where he goes from here because it's going to be so insane. So pressure बहुत है अभी. Mukesh would love right now is like a two result position जहाँ पे he can't lose, he can push for a long while. Um, risk लेने के लिए I'm not sure he's psychologically ready. And yeah, Chadis, you are correct. He's not wearing a suit today. He's changed his outfit, Rakesh Bhai. Do you think that's like a conscious decision or just random?
High conscious, because currently nothing seems to be working for the world champion.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, Chat, Divya and Gukesh fighting it out. ऑक्सीजन दिव्या भाई, ऑक्सीजन की कमी मुझे भी लग रही है एक्चुअली काफी। um, भाई सुबह से ही सांस ही नहीं आ रही है। दिस इज टू मुकेश टेक्स ऑल द हीट। आई मीन ऑफ कोर्स इफ वो एक कार्लसन का डायलॉग था ना, इफ यू कम एट द किंग यू बेटर नॉट मिस, सो मुकेश इज द किंग of the classical chess world, let's say. He is the world champion. So any result, any game he plays will be under extra scrutiny. Of course, he gets more
Yeah,
praise
yeah.
also, right? I mean, Gukesh winning a game will, on average, get more praise than somebody else winning just because he's the world champion. So it's a two-edged coin, and Gukesh right now is on the suffering end.
True. But Tikobai, do you think Arvind can spring up a surprise and beat Gukesh tonight?
I mean, of course he can. The thing is, though, Arvind, I think he did have one win under his belt, but
Mm-hmm.
that too he was technically lost.
Mm-hmm.
So Arvind's form, however, leaves questions unanswered. Rakesh Bhai, I would say it's going to be very difficult for him to win this. Black pieces, structure काफी ऐसा है, can go wrong. As you mentioned, e6 जब आ सकता हो white का, that means something can go wrong very quickly. Knight g5 and so on, rook e1. So it will be tough, I think, Arvind to win, for Arvind to win. But definitely a possibility. Knowing कि Gukesh is in low form, Arvind के भी, I'm sure he has a second team, and they must have thought कि
Yeah,
by
yeah.
this is the game to go for it, right? Because you beat the world champion, you get noticed instantly, and maybe people forget about what's happened in the past, and you forget about what's happened in the past.
100%, bhai, 100%. I think this game matters more for Guki than for Arvind, I think.
Yeah, true. भाई आज की कमेंट्री लगता है कुछ ज्यादा ही एक्साइटिंग होने वाली है.
100%. Can't wait, Tiko bhai.
I'm already waiting by for words to come out. By the way, I read Danny Rench's book yesterday. Uh, तो उसके बाद ही मुझे इसमें एंग्जाइटी हो गई. Maybe I don't know. Just kidding, but
Yeah.
I didn't know Rakesh bhai कि did you know this? I don't know if I should share this, but जो
हाँ,
आपने
बोलो
पढ़ी है
बोलो.
बुक क्या?
Yeah, of course.
जो क्लाइमैक्स पढ़ा
बोलो
है, जो
बोलो.
फाइनल है वो, आई डेंट नो दैट पार्ट.
I mean, that's very interesting. I don't know if chat has read it, Tiko, but काफी interesting uh, switch है.
लास्ट में कुछ क्रेजी था उसमें बुक में. शायद आई हाईली रिकमेंड चेकिंग इट आउट बिकॉज आई वाज शॉक्ड. आई वाज लाइक वाओ, दिस इज सो कूल. सो या, क्रैमनिक का पोस्ट नहीं भाई. It's not a collection of Kramnik's tweets. Although I did see a video by Magnus with Liquid Chess जहाँ पे वो बोलते हैं कि कैटलाइन ओपनिंग के बारे में कमेंट कर रहे थे. कहते हैं कि like this line was popularized by Kramnik, before he was doing other things. Was hilarious, man.
Strange.
What does I am old ये मीन राकेश भाई, ये क्या है?
नहीं समझा भाई. मतलब मैं भी पढ़ रहा हूँ comments of the chat, but ये नहीं समझा. Crammick it. Oh, okay. Sorry.
I saw a tweet कि Hikaru is already in Cyprus. Is that
Cyprus.
true? Is that true? Like उसका जो social media location है, that's showing us Cyprus, which is very interesting.
What do you think? I feel he might be in Cyprus already, Tico bhai, because players थोड़ा जल्दी जाते हैं trying to acclimatize, but not sure if it's actually Hikaru and his team who are in Cyprus.
हाँ, it might be some of his team. या मतलब जो कोई like second हो सकता है वहाँ पे. or like his social media manager or somebody might be there also, right? I mean, because like it's possible. So maybe somebody in his family is there, who knows? Or maybe he might be there. Trying to understand the pitch, Rakesh bhai.
I mean, I don't know if वो खुद है or if he can even reveal it, but bhai, it's a candidate. So, bhai, you can expect people to like start acclimatizing around 15th of March. मतलब 10 दिन पहले 10-12 दिन पहले but 1 month before I have my doubts.
True, true. Agreed. And meanwhile, about the game, 12 minute पीछे Gukesh already.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have to look at the standings again?
Why?
ऐसे ही भाई राकेश भाई
Oh,
मतलब
oh man, this is देखो भाई मतलब क्या बोलूं मैं इस पे
हटा दो है, मेरी एंग्जाइटी बढ़ रही है, हटा दो भाई.
मतलब 8th and 10th place. I would have never thought that this would be the situation of Indian players.
अग्रीड. साज भाई को अलग चुल मची है, आई थिंक भाई सही डिसीजन लिया सागर, साज भाई ने भाई, जो टूर्नामेंट स्किप करना था सही वाला स्किप किया.
True that.
एब्सेंट नहीं हो भाई, यही हूँ यार, आई एम वेरी वेरी सिक टुडे, सो चैट आज मैं थोड़ा सा
हाँ चैट में बोल रहे भाई आप दोनों की बैटरी लो लग रही है देखो भाई आई थिंक मैक्स एग्री ऑन दैट
या. ऐसे आई फील लाइक वो कौन सी कमेंट्री होती है राकेश भाई, वो होता नहीं है, आई डोंट नो व्हिच स्पोर्ट इट वाज, जहाँ पे हर 15 सेकंड में यू स्पीक लाइक एंड दैट्स अ शॉट. ऐसे लाइक गोल्फ की होती है ऐसी स्लो कमेंट्री, किसकी होती है लाइक ऐसे है ना?
गोल्फ गोल्फ
है ना,
करेक्ट
like very slow,
समा
like there are huge pauses, like I feel like we're touching that zone, we are experimenting, chat, we are not sick, we are experimenting.
भाई तो भाई अरविंद का तो 100% एक्यूरेसी दिख रहा है एट द बॉटम ऑफ स्क्रीन बट कैन गुकी भाई मेरे को लगता है युकेश forget evaluation forget accuracy play e6 and just make matters worse for Arvind.
But टफ है भाई, टफ है. सोच
भाई
रहा है वो.
खेलना तो पड़ेगा यार गुकेश को कम ऑन ही इज द वर्ल्ड चैंपियन
Salva, you have said Arjun and Arvind भाई, I'm not rooting for Gukesh, I'm rooting for myself today भाई, तब मैं ठीक हो जाए, बिकॉज छाती में दर्द हो रहा है मेरे भाई अभी बहुत. और मेरे जहाँ मैं रहता हूँ
भाई
वहाँ आसपास हॉस्पिटल है नहीं भाई, कम से कम आधे घंटे तक, तो मैं तो अपने लिए चीयर कर रहा हूँ आज के दिन, क्योंकि आना एक ही पॉइंट है भाई. सो चाहे मैं कुछ भी चेयर कर लूं, मैक्स एक ही पॉइंट आना है, मिनिमम एक ही पॉइंट आना है.
yeah and Chad if you're not aware like Tiku bhai faced some issues today morning so let's root for him and hope he's back
आई
100%
एम
of
हियर भाई. होप ही इज बैक.
भाई मतलब अभी मैं आपके इश्यूज पब्लिकली एड्रेस नहीं करना चाहता हूँ टिको भाई इफ यू वांट आई कैन डू दैट एज वेल बट रिस्पेक्टफुली मैं हवा में डाल रहा था वो
अच्छा अच्छा भाई, पर हवा ही तो नहीं आ रही ना राकेश भाई, हवा में आप डाल रहे हो बट हवा आ नहीं रही है, दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम.
एंड भाई भाई मतलब जस्ट टू गेट बैक लाइक कल तक मैं मस्त -2 डिग्रीज में था एंड टुडे इट्स लाइक +27 डिग्रीज इन मुंबई it shook me in a way and now Tiku bhai I can fully understand your pain
डैम भाई, गुकेश तो स्ट्रेचिंग कर रहा है भाई अभी -2 में.
E6 तो खेलना ही पड़ेगा ना, otherwise black plays E6 himself. Gukesh having a 18-minute think chat. What do you think the world champion is thinking here?
I think he's solving like Einstein's equations right now of time travel. If I could go back to round one, but unfortunately, मुश्किल है. we are unable we are unable to reconcile quantum mechanics and मैं chess stream कर रहे थे. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, difficult position राकेश भाई.
नहीं बट भाई E6 तो खेलना पड़ेगा ना, अगर आप नहीं खेलोगे तो ब्लैक या मतलब अरविंद खुद से पॉन टू E6 खेलेगा एंड देन ही इज सुपर कंफर्टेबल. So I think as the world champion, or you're just, as the white player who's trying for an initiative, gotta go up onto E6 and murky the waters, I feel.
भाई कुछ समझ में आ गया होगा चैट. डैम यार, क्रेजी पोजीशन. भाई पहली बार यार, और हमारे शब्द में उतना डिफरेंस नहीं है. At the end of the stream, I think number of
True,
words spoken will be
true,
on the same graph.
true that. But भाई क्या लगता है, like if you play something like normal, like rook e1, let's play that Tico bhai. But now Arvind just goes pawn to e6 और आपका प्लान फॉइल कर दिया मैंने. Instead, if let's go one move back and Guki plays pawn to e6, I think ना इसमें धमाकेदार रिजल्ट बन सकता है टिको भाई.
Agreed, भाई.
अभी रुकी वन, किंग सेंटर में ब्लैक का नाइट g5, नाइट e6 आ रहा है. एक पॉन सैक्रिफाइस किया बट फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ डेवलपमेंट एडवांटेज.
True. And apparently, best move c4 है, so the pawn sacks continue.
Yeah, agreed. But also, Tiko bhai, if we come to the live position, this is a big tell because 21 minutes of thinking time and Gukesh finally plays rookie one.
राकेश भाई, आप स्लो स्पीड में बोल रहे हो कि मुझे नाइस स्लो स्पीड में दे रहा है?
नहीं भाई, आज तो इंटरनेट बेटर है क्योंकि I'm back in India chat. No
अच्छा.
more German internet scenes, but I just said rookie one played, and now big threat for Arvind Pawn coming to e6.
Yeah, if knight h6, I think e6 would be very strong now, right? Because you can't even
True.
take the pawn. बार
Yeah,
कह रहा है कि
yeah.
-0.3 है, but खेलना इस पोजीशन से is a nightmare. So
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Let's see what if Arvind plays pawn to e6, Tiku. Oh, played,
Played.
played, played. Let's go.
Of course. Let's enjoy having a world champion because we won't have one very soon. So you mean we'll have one more, yeah? Two. Uh, in the women's one, I think. That's what you mean. That's great, no?
Yeah, yeah. I think our Sahil bhai, you should also take rest today. इस कमेंट का क्या मतलब है?
Bye. I feel like I'm minutes away from vomiting. So जैसी जब बिल्कुल सड़ जाएगा समझ जाना भाई पीठ पीछे क्या चल रहा है. But I just hope की position अच्छी हो भाई. That's the only thing.
Yeah, Chad, we love to have live commentary, but Tigo Bhai is sick, like very, very sick, extremely sick, with and has some issues, and I
भाई
just have.
राकेश भाई
क्या हुआ भाई?
कुछ नहीं भाई.
इश्यूज नहीं है तो फिर अच्छे से कमेंट्री करो ना, मतलब मैं तो आपके टीम में हूँ. Chat, yeah, I am back in India, so yeah, as you can see, internet अच्छा है, but energy is low because non-stop 20 hours of travel is affecting me somewhere.
Discuss Kramnik issue. Which one?
Which one, bhai? Oh, Sahaj bhai. Oh, Sahaj bhai in the chat, Tico. But he is laughing. I don't know what does that mean.
I don't know why. Southern Hemisphere है ना भाई. He's far away from
South
the
Africa
action.
से correct, correct. I don't know
So he's
what
like,
Sahaj bhai means.
तुम लोग करो सब. मैं बहुत दूर हूँ.
मतलब खुद तो कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं.
अब देखो क्या
सहज
लिख रहा
भाई
है.
इंडिया आ जाओ.
सिचुएशन थोड़ी खराब है. I'm stuck in South Africa for a bit because no fights available. He wants
Yeah,
fights.
yeah. In fact, Chad, I spoke to Sahaj bhai today evening, and he had his flight back to Budapest like today
Rakesh bhai,
afternoon.
no
बोलो बोलो.
flights. Fights, he's saying. Fights. He wants fights, bhai.
अरे
He's like,
नहीं नहीं
I'm missing
नहीं,
out.
वो एरर है, बट उनकी एमिरेट्स की फ्लाइट थी, बट सहज भाई कैन नॉट कम बैक टू यूरोप until and unless the Middle Eastern routes start flying back.
Hikaru is not eligible. Why is he not eligible? Why?
टिको वर्सेस राकेश चेस बॉक्सिंग इवेंट. टिको भाई बताओ आप. मुझे लगता है पहले टिको वर्सेस सहज होना चाहिए फॉर चेस बॉक्सिंग. दैट वुड बी मोर फेयर, आई गेस.
भाई एक चाल नहीं हुई तब से भाई. इतना थोड़ा इसको आज के लिए रैपिड नहीं बना सकते. कुछ रैपिड ब्लेड कुछ कर सकते जल्दी जल्दी. Yesterday, a drone blasted in Cyprus.
टीकू भाई क्या लगता है आपको कैंडिडेट्स होगा इन साइप्रस?
होगा भाई, होगा होगा. I
What if the
think,
players like refuse मतलब for security reasons?
but who would refuse? I think ये भी है ना. Everybody knows कि भाई मुकेश फॉर्म में नहीं है.
Fabi, नहीं, but Fabi, Hikaru, what if the US government tells them to not play in the Middle East?
हो सकता है. But I think maybe हिकारू तो कह रहे हैं ऑलरेडी है यहाँ पे, so वो भी एक चीज है. Let's see.
True, true, yeah, agreed. Pico, okay.
वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप लोकेशन अभी आई नहीं है चैट, so
Pico, I think Hitch की attack मेरे पे हो गया है, so I try to counter that.
भाई अंटार्कटिका में रख देते हैं. पता है अंटार्कटिका से यू कैन एक्चुअली प्ले चेस. You can still play chess on Antarctica even during peak like bad weather. Like you, for a few hours a day, the satellite shows up over Antarctica and you can still play. गुकेश प्ले फास्ट भाई. 10 ही मूव है अभी. फन फैक्ट, इक्को इज ट्वाइस द एज ऑफ गुकी. नहीं भाई, 33 डिवाइड बाई 19 कर लो भाई, जो भी बनता है वो. Bishop g5. Hmm. How do you stop castling with bishop g5? Can't I still put the knight out somewhere in castle? I can, no? I can also play h6. Oh, yeah, sure. Thanks for asking. कुछ नहीं है ऐसा. I don't know how to put into words. Something to do with breathing. Hikaru played in FIDE and approved tournament. Those games will be considered. FIDE and approved tournament कौन सा था? Rakesh bhai, Divya game queens are about to be traded off and it could be going to a draw very quickly.
Yeah, yeah, looks like that. देखो भाई, क्या आपके पास या चैट के पास इज देयर अ वे टू स्टॉप हिकअप्स?
हिकअप्स?
हाँ,
ऐसे कहते हैं कि कोई आपको डरा दे आके चुपके से, सडनली, तो हिकअप्स रुक जाते हैं, ऐसे बू
गुकेश
कर देते हैं.
गुडबू खेल दे, दैट दैट वुड बी अ बिग शॉक.
What scary? Oh, by the way, look at this. He played c4. That's a mistake.
सॉरी, नहीं गया, बड़ा मिस्टेक थी. सॉरी.
राकेश भाई, आज हम दोनों की लगी हुई है भाई. आज क्या दिन है यार, हो क्या हो गया आज?
पता नहीं भाई. Wait, let me figure out this hiccup situation.
Mukesh is smiling, really? He's also wearing jeans, no suit today for Mukesh, and also like he's wearing sports shoes. Very interesting. Complete attire change. Hmm. Chat, आपने एवेंजर्स की मूवी देखी होगी, एंड कई बार क्या होता है कि दो एवेंजर्स काफी नहीं होते,
सही में.
सो तीसरे को बुलाना पड़ता है.
सॉरी, सॉरी,
राकेश.
सॉरी.
ये आपको लगेगा हिचकी है, बट दिस इज द इनविटेशन कॉल थर्ड एवेंजर के लिए. सो तीसरा एवेंजर आने वाला है, एंड होपफुली ही विल विन द बैटल फॉर अस, राकेश भाई, नाउ.
भाई मैं कुछ बोलने के पहले ही. Oh my God, man.
Can I nice sound effects?
अरे chat, sorry, it's not chat. We are trying our best, chat. Sorry. 47 minutes for Cookie. Sorry. भाई sorry. छोड़ो. I'm but it, oh my. Is Sahaj by joining Ticko bhai?
I think audio only पे आएंगे, but that works because that works more than enough.
हाँ हाँ भाई. That works. Sorry. भाई हिचके क्यों?
Agreed.
समय भाई, समय में आप हंस क्यों रहे हो यार? सही में हिचकी आ रही है यार, मतलब आई
अरे
डोंट नो.
नेक्स्ट टाइम समय भाई जब बीमारी होकर प्रोडक्शन कर रहे होंगे ना, उस टाइम पे हर 2 मिनट में सीट चेंज. समय भाई स्टैंडिंग दिखा दो एक बार. नहीं नहीं, उस दिन देखेंगे भाई.
तो चैट, सॉरी, छोड़ो. सॉरी. तो चैट, ग्रैंड ग्रैंड मास्टर सहज girl might be joining us very very soon.
Yo, 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 what's up, everyone?
Yo yo Sahaj bhai,
यो यो.
we were we were missing
कैसे
you.
हाल है? Should I ask? How is it going?
भाई आपको तो पता है.
I meant the tournament.
भाई सभी जगह से हिचकियां लग चुकी है।
सवाल असल में ये है किसकी ज्यादा लगी हुई है, इंडियन प्लेयर्स की कि कमेंटेटर्स की?
uh, it's a very close call, I must say. कल का game was crazy, by the way, against Nodirbek. I was watching the whole thing, but what a fight it was, yeah.
क्या मैं इमोट से रिएक्ट कर सकता हूँ जूम कॉल पे?
What's up, everyone? भाई आपकी हालत ठीक है? चैट में प्लीज यस या नो तो लिख दो कम से कम.
I
भाई
have a
आई एम ऑल्सो इन अ
question.
वेरी सिमिलर सिचुएशन बिकॉज आई एम ऑल्सो स्टक राइट नाउ इन साउथ अफ्रीका, या.
But भाई,
It is very very difficult to catch. I don't know if you told like anyone here.
I shared your difficulty sets, भाई.
Oh, अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, चलो बढ़िया.
But
So what's going
any
on?
chat सहज भाई टिको भाई, sorry. Any tips to cure hiccups? Please let me
You
know.
should hold your breath. That's what works for me.
Okay. Sorry.
Like
दैट्स
try that.
ऑटोमेटिकली हैपनिंग फॉर मी.
I'll try. आप दोनों ट्राई करो. I'll
नहीं
just.
नहीं टिकू भाई, आप मत ट्राई करना है.
भाई
बट
सुबह से आई एम
मैच में क्या
नॉट
चल
एबल
रहा है
टू.
भाई? नाइट C3, लुक एट दिस.
भाई आज मुझे लग रहा है आज
um,
इनका कुछ ब्लंडर कोई करेगा भाई. 44 मिनट्स है मुकेश के पास भाई टू प्ले
भाई
30 मूव्स.
भाई कम से कम लेट एटलीस्ट टेल मी हु डू यू थिंक इज गोना विन. एक एक मैगी तो हो जाए कम से कम. गुकेश या फिर अरविंद? टेक टेक अ प्लेयर्स. टिक्कू भाई एंड राकेश भाई. भाई इतना थॉट, क्रेजी.
थॉट नहीं भाई, उल्टी आने वाली थी.
अरे
भाई सेम.
रिजल्ट सोच के.
अब बैठ जाने दो भाई, इधर हिचकियां कैसे रोकूं मैं?
आई
दैट्स अ
एम
बिट.
बर्पिंग एवरी 5 सेकेंड्स एंड म्यूट कर रहा हूँ. इफ आई इफ मी एंड राकेश स्टॉप म्यूटिंग आवर माइंड्स तो बीट बॉक्सिंग लगेगा अभी.
अरे अरे डोंट वरी, इट विल बी फाइन. चैट आपको क्या लगता है भाई? अरविंद विंस और ड्रॉ? गुकेश? Hey, Ukesh hasn't won a game in this event, right? So far, it's 1.5 out of 5. Yeah, exactly. He hasn't won a game and two losses with black so far. So not the best event so far, I would say, for the world champion. But okay, let's see. फाल्कन जी बोल रहे हैं, साहिल भाई ने बोला था कि आप ये इवेंट कवर ही नहीं करोगे. साहिल भाई आपकी ओ फाल्कन यार, आपके आपके कमेंट्स हमेशा थोड़े रिस्की रहते हैं, आई हैव टू से.
मैं साहज भाई की नौकरी, कोई मेरी भी नौकरी ले लो प्लीज.
हम्म.
ये साज के लिए भाई जान निकली पड़ी है.
बट है व्हाट इज इट? क्या हुआ क्या?
आई एम
डिड
नॉट
यू
एबल टू ब्रीथ सिंस मॉर्निंग. आई डोंट नो व्हाट द हेल हैपेंड.
पनवेल में हो या फिर दिल्ली में? दिल्ली, आई
पनवेल में
अंडरस्टैंड.
भाई. पनवेल में भाई,
ओह,
पनवेल में
दैट्स न्यू
350
भाई.
एक्यू
दैट
है.
इज क्रेजी एक्चुअली.
सो जब भी मैं व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग तो आई एम फीलिंग लॉट ऑफ एंजाइटी, सो दैट्स आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग, ओनली देन आई कैन ब्रीथ. तो होपफुली कुछ ब्रेन सी देखने को मिलेगी, थोड़ा बेटर लगेगा भाई.
अंडरस्टैंडेबल, अंडरस्टैंडेबल. एंड दिव्या इज डूइंग वेल, या, सो फार.
यस, बेटर आई थिंक.
I saw she defeated Surya yesterday, was it? Or am I mistaken? Or am I just misremembering something?
दैट्स करेक्ट भाई. See, by the way, Saj bhai, do you think Surya is sorry, Divya's second? भाई
हो सकता है
हिचकियां आ
यार,
रही
हो
है यहाँ पर,
सकता है,
सॉरी.
पॉसिबल. नो वरीज भाई, डोंट वरी.
या
थोड़ा पानी पियो एंड देन हैव लाइक ट्राई टू होल्ड योर ब्रेथ, या. दैट्स व्हाट वर्क्स.
या
हमारे में तो कहते हैं ना कि अगर हिचकी आती है मतलब कोई आपको याद कर रहा है, तो इट्स अ गुड थिंग.
सहज भाई, आप या इंडियन विनिंग अ गेम, क्या याद कर रहे हैं मुझे एट दिस
एग्जैक्टली exactly. इस टाइम पे गुकेश ही याद कर रहा है भाई आपको.
प्लीज कुकी यार, प्लीज. Oh my god, my diaphragm is killing me.
Okay, so we have knight c3 on the board, by the way. But hey, I have to say this position came from accelerated dragon, as from what I can tell. Can d4 नहीं खेला उसने, but still. But एकदम French की vibes आ रही है मुझे एकदम. I have to say. But Tiguba, you didn't choose a player to win. I mean, if I had to choose, I would say like for me so far, I think Arvind has a pretty comfortable position as long as he doesn't play d4. Like
I think
short
draw होगा.
castle, rook takes knight, GG, bhai. That looks very, very scary. At the right moment, yeah.
I think draw होगा is my guess.
You think so?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Looks like a pretty fighting game. And also, गुकेश का टाइम काफी कम है यार पहले से. या गुकेश भी लेट आया था.
हंस रहे हैं साज भाई, अंदर से हंस रहे हैं भाई.
नहीं हंस नहीं रहा भाई. My bad.
नहीं,
So,
मैं खुद हंस रहा हूँ भाई.
um, एक बार दिव्या का भी गेम दिखा दो. What's going on there? Okay. So it's slightly worse, yeah, so far.
She had to take on
Okay,
the
it
pawn
was
apparently. It was tough to do that, you know.
oh, that's actually a nice technique there because usually क्या इस position में with if you don't play a5 when you go castle straight, then c4 dc4 knight a3 के बाद आपको a5 खेलना होता है. So he just changed the move order and I think maybe tried to out prep Divya here. I think he's got a pretty good position with black. So the Divya को थोड़ा defend करना होगा यहाँ पे for sure.
Sahaj bhai, who do you think wins the candidates in both sections?
I think we spoke about this, but for me, I think still Fabi, the way he's playing also, I mean, US Masters, I think it was, sorry, St. Louis Masters. I think the games were very, very exciting for Fabi and he looked in pretty good shape. There's also American Cup happening, I think, very recently, like today is a quarterfinals or something. And Fabi plays against, I think, Abhimanyu Mishra. And yeah, for me, I think he's the S tier. And then uske baad Hikaru, Prague, Anish would be like my second picks. But okay, Sendarov also like having a very, very outside chance. Agar if you start off with if he starts off well, I can definitely see him as a world championship challenger as well. And women's may, I mean, it's difficult, bhai, but I really think Divya has good chances. I don't know. I'm just getting a feeling that she's has the um I think the most like ambition, yeah. I mean she's so young, पहली बार खेल रही है. Candidates won the World Cup as well. So I think that is a very big motivation. So I think she has very good chances. Chat, would you agree with that statement? या आपको कोई और लग रहा है?
Rakesh bhai?
Oh, he takes on c4, by the way. Going into the end game. Interesting. But Arvind will be a pawn up after this. But वो pawn मर नहीं रहा है टिक्को भाई. Like it's not like I can take that pawn anytime soon. Maybe I can play rook e4. Like I can take on d7. Like you go king d7 and then I play rook e4 at some point and just try to take the pawn on c4.
Apparently 95 is strong.
Hmm. I just realized मेरा main जा link on नहीं था. But yeah, this looks difficult, no? Maybe not rook e4 straight then. आप थोड़ा पहले जाओ queen d7 king d7 like you play rook e4 at like आपके पास rook d1 होना चाहिए. So what I'm saying is bishop g5. If you play knight d5 then I have rook d1. आपका knight pin हो गया.
Hmm.
But काफी मतलब complicated position. It doesn't feel that white is as better as it says. like on the bar, I have to say. Wow, this is all possible, yeah? That's crazy.
Forced है भाई almost once you enter that knight d5 variation.
अरे crazy. I'm backram के mate भी नहीं हो रही है. Like you cannot play rook c1 ever.
King d8 is lost.
King
Now
c6 पे
king
क्या हो रहा है?
c6. King
Just
c6,
curious.
knight c3.
Repeat. Offer draw. Let's give a check now. No? Yeah. Knight d5. Then you
भाई ये
play
कौन
h4 or
सी चेस
something.
है भाई? ये तो मतलब मैंने कोशिश भी नहीं करी समझने की ये क्या था. Close to forced by
Yeah.
the way.
Can become very, very crucial. Yeah. I mean, has Gukesh seen all like most of it? I would say like rook d1, rook e4, rook c4 का idea उसने check तो किया होगा. But whether he decides to sack the exchange, I don't know. That feels very, very unlikely.
Apparently the best move is bishop e3 and basically you can't go knight d4 right because I control d4.
उसको तो आप just yeah, you can just capture. So b6 or
I
something. Like okay, you attack pawn, I defend pawn. That's it.
And now queen. Now you can take, or you can also play queen c2,
Queen
or you can
c2.
just
I
The idea is to play rook d1, and that's nice.
or you
That's
can
very
also
nice
do this.
actually.
You can also do this.
correct. भाई एनालिसिस चालू रहेगा बट रेनू अग्रवाल जी बोल रहे हैं सहज भाई आवाज सुन के ही बहुत खुशी हुई मिस्ड यू भाई सहज भाई
अरे
व्हाट
अरे
आर योर
thank you so much.
कमेंट्स फॉर दैट
अरे thank you so much. Thank you so much भाई लोग. Missed this as well. एक event miss हुआ, but I was watching every day. I was watching the games live every day. So I didn't miss a thing. But nice to be back, and thank you so much, chat.
Yeah. And Gukesh captures Queen D7, King D7. I think that variation which you guys were speaking might happen on the board. But Sahil bhai, क्या कर रहे हो आप South Africa में? If you can enlighten us and chat as well.
No, I was just coaching basically for an event, and now the event is over.
Hmm.
So now I'm supposed to go back to India, but it's very difficult to fly
You
these days,
can't.
so I just can't.
You
So
know,
अभी just trying to find a way to Budapest. फिर उसके बाद थोड़ा प्लान बनाएंगे भाई.
साज भाई आपने कहा कि इवेंट एंड चैट में कुछ अफवाहें चल रही थी कि इट वाज फॉर द इंडिया वर्सेस साउथ अफ्रीका क्रिकेट मैच.
भाई पता है like I was watching and I was like ये बहुत गलत इल्जाम है भाई. मतलब
सही में.
फिर तो मैं साउथ अफ्रीका को सिखा रहा हूँ ना.
क्या पता
अब
इंडिया को ही सिखा रहे थे भाई.
Oh, wow. ये
हाँ अब
गजब
शायद
दोस्ती है
इंडिया को
भाई.
ही सिखा रहे थे क्योंकि जीतना बंद हो चुका है सहज भाई. Ever since you left.
हाँ.
Yeah, I can see. Actually, मतलब, I mean, Tata Steel, I mean, it started off pretty well for Arjun, but I think overall it was not the best event, yeah? Overall.
Yeah,
By the way, he has
yeah.
played Rook D1 check. I think it's on the live board. If you can just make the moves. I think he's gone King C8. Has he?
Correct. Yeah,
Yes.
on the board.
Oh, King C8. So, क्या point है अभी? He just wants to take the pawn on E5, I'm guessing. Or just go A6, B5 and just expand on the queen side somehow. थोड़ा थोड़ा space gain king को मतलब C7 पे connect the rooks. That looks very nice. I don't know, like I feel you're one bad move away from each side, just to get a very, very bad position. Like it
But
looks risky.
overall, सहज भाई, like Grandmaster Brain को dig कर रहा हूँ. Doesn't it feel like Arvind has won the opening battle here?
Mm, I mean, I think it's tough to say because I think he played. Probably Gukesh was expecting वो E4 D6 जो अरविंद पूरे इवेंट में खेलते आ रहा है अब तक.
हाँ, correct,
And
yeah,
I think
yeah.
first time he switched to the Sicilian, but then he played second move G6. But the thing is that G6 के against आप हमेशा D4 open Sicilian में like I would say 99% of the players would go for that. And that is what your core preparation would be. Because then you get this Maroczy bind
True,
structure, which is
true.
supposedly very, very good for white. At least for the engine, it's very good. But of course, like you have to know the structure well and all of that, all of this. However, Gukesh also didn't play D4, so he also switched. So it's like I'm not really sure who won, but I think they both entered a place जहाँ पे कोई भी मतलब comfortable नहीं है.
Hmm. Fair,
That's what I
fair,
feel.
yeah, yeah.
Chat पूछ रहे how साहिल भाई feeling now. साहिल भाई, how are you?
बस जब मैं
But
शांत
बोलो
बैठा
बोलो.
हूँ, आई एम फीलिंग बेटर. बट व्हाट इज गेटिंग मी मोर एंजाइटी नाउ इज गुकेश's clock. By
Hmm.
39 minutes he has now, and they have played what 14 moves.
So
And
can you
time
update me
pressure.
please? Does it contain the 30-second increment या फिर नहीं?
Yes, but the point is, last game Nodirbek, as we saw, time pressure की वजह से ही हारा वो. If he had like even 5 more minutes, he
True,
would have
true.
likely won that. Forget like losing. So yeah, time pressure is one of the big problems for Gukesh in this tournament. And of course, if अगर ये time situation हुई, even if it's equal, Arvind's gonna push, yeah, to Rakesh Bhai's point. Like maybe it's not clear whether Arvind is happy out of the position, but the time situation makes it very difficult. And now look at this. So knight e4, second best move, already completely equal. I mean, how does Gukesh win this though?
Also, Bishop G5, Bishop F6 also looks weird, yeah?
Hmm.
Like the whole idea of Bishop G5, Bishop F6, that's what's popping up on my screen, which just looks very, very strange. Like without knight e4, that is. Like straight Bishop G4, 5 Bishop F6. Oh, he just played knight e4, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so brother, what about knight takes pawn? Like, can't Arvind just chop off the pawn in the center and be a pawn up?
I do pawns, but I still feel there's a lot of compensation on the board. Like black का king अभी भी c8 पे है, like rooks एकदम corner पे है. I don't know, like takes bishop
True,
g5, rook
true.
c1, everything just coming with a tempo. हाँ मतलब I'm sure it's not working, none of that, but definitely looks scary to take on e5.
Fair.
But then again आप और कर क्या सकते हो? Like maybe knight f5 is an option.
On which move?
Maybe
Which move?
like
I
after
mean,
knight
just
e4, like immediately
okay.
knight f5. I mean I'm just discussing what is more human here. Like knight takes e5 doesn't feel human. Like
Hmm.
you feel like I mean, like if you takes, bishop g5, I don't know, and then rook c1 next, it just feels off.
Actually, Bishop G5
Something feels off.
के बाद like it's I think it's already lost actually, close to lost.
Not bishop g5, then maybe something else, yeah?
There's only one move actually, knight c5, or Gukesh is close to lost,
Wow.
which is crazy to
Yeah,
me.
that's a sign of worry for sure. Oh, wait a second. Knight e5 के बाद knight g5 खेल सकता हूँ क्या मैं? Knight fg5, yeah. Like just to target that e6 pawn. That's not looking at the bar, but like this looks very difficult, no, for black?
हाँ, प्रैक्टिकली काफी मुश्किल लग रहा है भाई. ये
Yes, exactly, because you can't play like simple moves like rook d8 just to challenge the rook, because I'll just capture your rook, go knight e6 check and take the bishop on g7.
करेक्ट करेक्ट या.
Um, it's like rook, वो simple moves नहीं है आपके पास यहाँ पे, what does engine suggest? I mean, after knight e5, knight g5, I was thinking. I'm not really sure. I'm just gonna take a look. It's looking at knight f5, which okay makes sense. By the way, that's the only move in the position. So this also, creates problems. Like it makes it less likely that Arvind will go for this. Because once you see knight g5, you're just thinking, okay, knight e6 आ रहा है, bishop attacked है, queen side पे इतना pressure है. Like it doesn't look right. You kind of go away from it. But if you go knight f5, then there is knight takes e6, and
हम्म.
I'm assuming
हम्म.
b6 here.
Yeah.
b6 again only move भाई. Only move पे only move. Bishop g5 खेला तो फिर से only move क्या? Knight f7. Okay, there's two moves
Right.
there.
Hmm.
h6 and knight f7. Yeah. h6 also looks crazy because knight g7 के बाद I'm guessing आपको h5 मारना होगा. Like, this is not easy to play
And now look at this,
for
now you
either
have to
side.
play rook d5,
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
and now knight f3
भाई
check,
भाई भाई भाई
g
भाई.
f3 and knight g7.
What the hell is this?
Yeah. Time is, I think, it can become a big, big, big issue. And no increment, yeah? Until
Uh,
move 40.
Gukesh is
That's
exposed to the
crazy.
world. I don't know what that means. Gukesh is spending too much time. What do you think about his time management, Raj, by so far in the game?
Why, matlab, I think it's not optimal to have 40 minutes after move 15, especially when you have to make 25 more moves.
And with
That
the
doesn't leave
white
enough time, and
pieces.
blunders होते हैं भाई इसमें. और लास्ट वाला गेम पे भी you cannot say it was because of the time. I mean, maybe you can, yeah. जो
Partially, of
जो
course.
कल
Like
का मैच था
partially,
नॉर्दरबैक. I mean, partially it
Nodr.
was time, I think.
But Nodirbek
Like
also, yeah,
नॉर्दरबैक के
credit to
पास वो
him.
like 7-8 मिनट हमेशा ज्यादा थे, like in the time
Hmm.
pressure phase, which I think really helps. So
By the way, Sajbhai, like thoughts from you on Van Forest. I mean, he's leading the event with
Ooh.
4 out of 5. Defeated Gukesh and other players. Is now 2-7-4-5. So if he wins today, he enters the world top 10. Crosses Arjun, I think. Or maybe like misses by point decimals. Yeah, matlab whatever. Like he will be world top 10 material and has
he will
gained like
be
what
Dutch number
40.
one actually.
I think 2 wins he needs for Dutch number one. Like he's 2 wins away from Dutch
Ah,
number one.
really?
So it's insane, yeah. Matlab what he's done. He's gained like what 50 points in the last in this year basically, couple of months में.
Ah, I remember Chennai Masters में we saw him last. And he was around 2690 in that जहाँ पे वो last round अनीश से हारा था. I remember
Hmm.
that.
Correct, correct.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
since that moment, I think like I mean okay, but Jordan, I mean in general, I think he is definitely a 2700 player. He's been 2700 for such a long time. But this growth is, I think, crazy, and like the energy in the games are just absolutely loving it. Like it's like he's just crushing people, yeah, left and right. It's not like long games हो रहे हैं necessarily. So
True,
it's very
true.
refreshing to see from Jordan. And yeah, he's proving himself. भाई उसकी गुकेश से ज्यादा rating है अभी. That's the
Exactly.
exactly. So
Of course.
that's a big statement on its own.
भाई गुकेश की तो बहुत लोगों की ज्यादा है भाई डूडा की भी ज्यादा है डोमिंगेस की भी ज्यादा है इज 2734 नाउ व्हिच इज
Yeah, भाई
insanely low.
सहज भाई मतलब आप
भाई
भी शायद क्रॉस ना कर दो बट ग्रेट पॉइंट अबाउट यॉर्डन बिकॉज इट फील्स लाइक he might be Dutch number one very, very soon. But on that note, Jordan having 4 wins and 1 loss, do you think this is a good strategy to gain rating, Sahaj bhai, at the top level? Matlab, playing more decisive games rather than draws. What do you think?
I think you just have to play the position, like whatever the position demands. And I think if you can continue the game while keeping things unclear, then you should continue. Otherwise, you should, um, yeah, I mean, if the position is dead, then the position is dead. So it's more about the position. But I think also Jordan is playing. Yeah, I mean, each game he's trying to have a game. And against Gukesh also, it was a wonderful game. Against Hans also, he played, I think, a fantastic game.
हाँ
So
बट उसमें
yeah.
हांस ने ही ब्लंडर कर दिया ना मतलब ओपनिंग में.
But I think that tactic with Bishop C5 is, I think, easy to miss, I think.
Hmm.
To realize all
True,
of that
true, true.
is
Yeah, yeah.
like on the board. You remember even in Tata Steel, Sendarov also made a similar blunder against Anish. Oh, sorry, Anish made a blunder against Sendarov,
ओ
and
हाँ
Yes,
then
दोनों ने
yes.
मिस
neither
करा.
of them, by none of them realized, because उस लेवल पे ना
हाँ.
आप ब्लंडर करते भी हो तो वो एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं रहती है कि आप ब्लंडर करोगे. So it's great that he realized in that moment. It's not easy.
Yeah, and I think he already was like 2730 something before. So this is his
Yeah,
second run
exactly.
to the top. And only I think God knows, yeah, when he stops now, he's gained like 37 ranking points. So it's gonna be amazing. He's only
Insane, I think.
26. He's only 26, by the way, very young. Like, of course, we think about a 19-year world champion, but 26 साल का ही है
By
यार, he
chess
could
के
still.
लिए तो like 26, I don't think is young anymore. That's why it's so impressive. Like usually जब ऐसा rise होता है एक player का, तो they're around 19, 20, 21. But Jordan is kind of proving it कि it's possible. Even if you're not, a teenager, essentially, which I think is
Yeah,
also
yeah,
a
yeah.
great thing.
Like Way is also 26. मेरा पता था कि like Like he's still like in that zone
वही तो
जहाँ पे।
भाई 14 साल की उम्र में 27 हो गया था वो तो।
हाँ तो भाई वो
तो
12
वो तो
साल से वो
डिफरेंट है ना भाई।
27 है क्या? 10 साल 27 है क्या वो?
Yeah, pretty
वही
much.
वही।
डैम ब्रो, नो
Yeah,
ग्रोथ।
all like all pretty much, yeah. Like I mean COVID की वजह से I think like he is not as active anymore as he used to be. Maybe this like last year he picked it up a bit, but yeah, but overall I think 2750 तो था ही वो सबसे।
एंड राकेश भाई एंड राजेश भाई, वुड लव टू नो योर थॉट्स अबाउट द नॉर्वे चेस लाइनअप दिस टाइम। आई थिंक चैट थोड़ा सा, तीन में दो कमेंटर थोड़े बीमार है, सो वी कैन डिस्कस अ लॉट ऑफ अदर स्टफ, स्पेशली जब गेम चल नहीं रही है अभी। वी हैव गुकेश, प्रग,
I
मैग्नस।
love the lineup,
हाँ
except for Wesley. So, to be very honest,
हाँ, like just for the audience, I think can we share the lineup? I think open section में गुकेश, प्रग, मैग्नस, वेस्ली,
वो
फिरोजजा एंड
समय भाई, can we show
विंसेंट।
it? In case समय भाई बताइए.
कोई अगर नहीं भी, आई थिंक यही छह प्लेयर है। विंसेंट है, अपार्ट फ्रॉम प्रग गुकेश,
हाँ.
विंसेंट, मैग्नस, वेस्ली एंड फिरोजजा। So what do you think about the lineup, Sayesh bhai, as well? What's your take?
I mean I think it's a pretty nice one. Nice to see. I mean for me Wesley is a nice addition. Firuza is, I think, crazy, of course. And Vincent, very well deserved. Would love to see him. And of course, the two Indians, वो तो
Yeah.
हमें पता ही था,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Prag and Gukesh. I think it's going
By
to
the
be a very
way,
strong event. I mean, like on paper, maybe not like the top five or anything like that, but I think it's relatively quite strong.
true.
Like strength wise, I think it's still the strongest place, fighting it out. So for me, it's going to be a
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
nice one. And favorites, mat puchna bhai, because I'll say something absolutely crazy, which no one will expect.
बोल दो भाई क्रेजी,
भाई
चैट में लड़ाई करवा दो।
मैग्नस, मैग्नस भाई लड़ लो। I'm telling you भाई। I know what I'm saying is very controversial, but that's the truth।
सहवे
भाई
तभी
ये तो
फ्लाइट नहीं मिल
सिंपल
रही,
था.
आपको ऐसी बातें कर
बाय द
रहा
वे,
हूँ।
टिको भाई, Wesley, so one of the sweetest grandmasters that we have interviewed, because आपको याद है, he was so friendly,
He was so
मतलब
sweet,
over
no? The
the top.
only GM who said,
हाँ,
राकेश भाई जितना टाइम चाहिए ले लो और नहीं चाहिए। Like he was so sweet, amazing,
exactly,
है ना?
exactly. हाँ, वो
Yeah.
पहला GM था who was like कि हो गया, आपको और टाइम नहीं
हाँ
चाहिए.
हाँ हाँ।
So very very sweet. And you know the problem with other players like for Wesley is you can't defeat him in classical. आपको ना वो आर्मेगेडन में विन लेना होगा against Wesley if you want. I mean classical में Wesley is just too solid and undefeatable. सहज भाई क्या लगता है आपको?
Yeah, of course. I think he's a extremely solid player for sure. And overall, I think Norway just never disappoints, yeah, with the lineup that they have, and of course the format that they have. It's always very very nice to see that event.
आई थिंक
So,
उन्होंने सोचा होगा
भाई,
कि किसका रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं। सो मैग्नस को मैग्नस, गुकेश को गुकेश, अर्जुन से प्रग, देन दे रिप्लेस्ड फिरू लाइक हिकारू, द फायरी हिकारू विद फायरी फिरूजा, देन द सॉलिड वेई विद सॉलिड वेस्ली। Like it feels like player by player they went. How can we make it as exciting? And yeah, now it's again a very strong lineup.
yeah, it's a nice way of looking at it actually. But Nodi missing, भाई।
Exactly my thought actually. That's why that's the
नॉडी
आपने पहले
चाहिए था,
point बोला ना,
नॉडी चाहिए था भाई।
हाँ कि
हाँ,
like Wesley maybe is a slight surprise. Like that's the only reason. Like now Nodirbek would have been crazy. That's the only reason why I also agree. Like
no,
why is he
I
not there?
think Wesley also is, I think, a very, very good choice for me. I mean, also Wesley was, I mean, he's not playing a lot of, when was the last time he played Norway chess, for example? It's been a while,
वो
no?
many
Maybe
years
two
back,
years?
at least 3 years तो मुझे याद नहीं है.
Huh. Exactly. So it's nice to see him in this format itself, it's refreshing. So, yeah, Nodi भी नहीं खेला है. It's been a while, and he's now world number 4. So, right, 2780 almost. That's insane.
Yeah, and कई बार शायद invites बहुत पहले जाते हैं. From maybe the invites went out 8 months back, 6 months back. So maybe not that much, but yeah, Nodi at that time maybe wasn't in the top five. Meanwhile, only move now for Gukesh apparently, or he's
ओ
clearly
भाई ये तो
worse.
वही है ना जो हम देख रहे थे।
No, I think we
ये
had
वही है
knight
ना।
g5 there. So without knight g5, knight g5, knight f5 के बिना same चीज है position right now. I
What?
think. I think.
हाँ राइट।
भाई ओनली मूव तो
राइट
नहीं लग
राइट।
रहा मेरे को सहज भाई, मतलब
I mean, knight. I
फॉर
mean,
हिम इज
simple.
व्हाट।
No, you just want to take the pawn on c4, and I mean, that's pretty much it. Yeah. If you give black
फेयर।
the option of playing, let's say, king c7, then knight d6 वगैरह कुछ possible नहीं रहेगा because that pawn is not hanging. I can even push c3 and force you to take it with the b pawn. Then the c pawn kind of becomes weak, and I think it's just better
ट्रू।
to just take it. Also, e5 का pawn भी मर रहा है आपका, so you have to be careful around that too. So I think it's maybe not a very difficult move. But 38 minutes by is crazy for 25 moves. That's a lot.
भाई 2 मिनट सुसु में
That's
निकल
not a
गए
lot,
भाई. Where is
sorry.
Gukesh?
भाई गुकी गायब है।
है कहाँ? And Arvind must वहाँ पे Oscar level acting as if it's still his move. Okay, I'm kidding of course, but he's still losing time भाई.
अरे 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 Chat and Tikubai and Rakesh bhai, have you ever done this before? Like your opponent is just walking
यस
around, आपको पता है कि
यस।
उसका टाइम कम है, and then you just pretend to think मैंने चला नहीं है ताकि वो देखे ना। करा है आपने
Sorry to
कभी?
admit भाई, but
सच सच
किया है
बोलना।
भाई. किया है भाई.
अरे 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 अरे।
सहज
पर
भाई
टिक्कू भाई ऑनेस्ट तो है
गिल्टी,
भाई, ऑनेस्ट।
गिल्टी प्रो
ऑन
मैक्स, मतलब आई हैव डन दिस,
अमेजिंग भाई।
बीन देयर, एंड आई एम श्योर हैव यू डन इट सहज भाई?
I'm 100% sure I have भाई, 100%।
I think दिमाग में चलता है कि
लाइक
भाई
मैं तो
यदि
चाहे टाइम प्रेशर ना भी हो मैं तो भी करूंगा।
नहीं, पता क्या है,
ऑफ
दिमाग में
कोर्स
आता
ऑफ
है कि
कोर्स।
भाई ये अगर यहाँ पे 30 सेकंड निकल गए, 1 मिनट निकल गया, एंड गेम में वही 1 मिनट एक्स्ट्रा है मेरे पास, ऐसे लॉजिक मेरा होता था.
हाँ नहीं
फेयर
नहीं, that's
फेयर।
I think
या
that's fair, yeah, I mean like to an extent, like you have to kind of I mean that extra minute definitely counts somewhere.
करेक्ट करेक्ट। The chat is saying like, Sahaj bhai, what are your thoughts on Divya's game? So Tiku bhai, can we quickly check in on
हाँ,
how Divya is doing?
I think we saw it till here. C6
हाँ
queen
हाँ।
d3.
हाँ,
One
that
line.
some preparation that her opponent had with early a5.
So Sahaj
Okay.
bhai, Divya, a topsy-turvy tournament so far, but last round में she beat Surya, who is potentially her second. We don't know for sure, but now again pressing with the white pieces. क्या लगता है आपको?
I think black is more comfortable by for sure. I don't think the way is pressing here. I feel like क्योंकि pawn already वो a4 पे जो बैठा हुआ है, it's going to make sure that white has no mobility on the queen side. So if you play something like a3, then b3 का square हमेशा weak रहेगा आपका. If you play
Correct,
something like
correct.
b3, then I can capture that pawn and then that pawn kind of becomes isolated. If you don't do anything, then I can always play this bishop e6. It's an annoying move, just to keep some pressure on the a2 pawn, which is also very good. And Divya का plan थोड़ा कुछ उतना
Uh,
clearly समझ नहीं आ रहा है मुझे. Like I mean, I'm guessing she has to push the e pawn, like center का pawn push करो and थोड़ा कुछ space वहाँ पर and then connect your rooks, but it just doesn't feel comfortable. And also look at her time as well, bhai. It's not actually, this is worse than Gukesh's board. Yeah, this is only move 12.
yeah, in 36 minutes, Sahaj bhai. I'm actually very worried for Divya right now.
By same, I have to say, I think this is looking um yeah, a bit worrying for Divya. 28
भाई
moves in 36 minutes is
स्ट्रेस
no
ही
joke,
खत्म
no
नहीं हो रहा
jokes,
है
bhai.
भाई. एंड यू नो व्हाट, लाइक भाई, अब दोनों बोर्ड देख लिए, बस सूर्या की पोजीशन मेंशन कर लेते हैं. सहज भाई, व्हाट डू यू थिंक ऑफ दिस पोजीशन? सूर्या लुकिंग एट द सीलिंग, क्या लग रहा है यहाँ पे, क्या चल रहा है?
भाई 55 मिनट देख के थोड़ा, सॉरी 1 घंटा देख के, सॉरी आई रेड रॉन्ग, बट 1 आवर देख के तो मतलब मजा ही आ गया भाई। दैट्स द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग हियर। एंड आई थिंक ही इज वेरी गुड ऑन द क्वीन साइड, द a4 एंड b3 pawns, कभी भी कुछ queen c2 वगैरह इज always possible. You're controlling that square basically. I'm guessing the best plan for black should revolve around exchanging the light squared bishop. तो जो black का जो bishop b7 का है और white का bishop जो d3 का है, उसको exchange करो ताकि वो c2 का square मेरे रुक के लिए खुल जाए. And if he's able to accomplish this, then I think he's doing quite well. Now, it also looks like White has space advantage, especially in the center. So, but there's not much that you can accomplish there. If you play something like e5, then you're opening up my bishop. Bishop से knight मर सकता है, knight भी d5 पे आ सकता है, exactly like you showed. And if you play
True,
something like d5,
true.
then I mean, worst case scenario मैंने e5 ही फेंक दिया तो क्या हो जाएगा? So it's like it's hard to make moves, those those filler moves. It's very hard to make those moves for white. And at some point, I think this also kind of explains why Daniel has spent so much time in the position, just because maybe it's not easy to come up with moves. And I think Surya has, maybe amongst the Indian players, I think he has the best chance of winning the match.
Yeah, and he's at the bottom of the
Fair.
standing, so let's hope so he wins. And I think Rakesh Bhai and I have like a 99% surety ki he's Divya's second, and we'll tell you the logic, Sahaj Bhai, and would love to know what you think. They arrived together.
भाई बट हमें तो पता है ना उसका सेकंड कौन है, तो लाइक वो आई नो वी आई मीन वी शुडंट से इट बट वी शुडंट से द नेम, बट हमें पता तो है वो कौन है.
रियली हमें पता है, मुझे तो नहीं पता सहज भाई,
कौन है भाई?
मुझे तो नहीं पता.
हमें
मतलब
भाई
उसका
हमने
कोच
लाइक आई
पता
एम
है
नॉट गोना से
आपकी
इट ऑन
सिटी से.
स्ट्रीम ऑब्वियसली.
भाई डू यू मीन
भाई
आपकी
मैं
सिटी से
मैं
जो है?
I am can neither confirm nor deny any of this, but yeah. But okay, wait, tell me your logic about Surya being her second.
हाँ,
What's your
so
logic?
basically they arrived
बोलो बोलो.
together at the venue. They're playing the same event. Then in the opening ceremony, they were sitting together. Then also एक दो चीज़, like they both bringing a banana to the game. So the first half of the tournament, both of them got bananas and kept it at the table but didn't eat it. So like there was a lot of logic ki bhai playing the same event, arrived at the same time, sat together, same routine, same banana. Like it's like लग रहा है कि मतलब साथ में कुछ लोगों ने होता है ना कि साथ में यू गो फॉर अ रन, आज से अपन लोग साथ में रन पे जाएंगे, वैसी फीलिंग आ रही थी सेकंड वाली.
No, yeah, I'm guessing you're right, like in to feel this way. But I mean, ऐसा होता भी तो है chess tournament में, like आप कभी अकेले जाते हो कहीं पे, and then you see someone, and then you just spend the tournament like like just hanging out and stuff. That could also be that. But I don't know.
ऐसे ऐसे अपनी बीवी से मिला था बट स्टिल लाइक, बट स्टिल लाइक यहाँ बहुत सारा कोइंसिडेंस है यार, आई डोंट नो.
अरे भाई भाई भाई. By the way, Surya just played Queen A5. He offers to go into the end game. Kind of makes sense also, ना, क्योंकि Rook C2 का जो प्लान था वो end game में Rooks on the seventh rank is always a dangerous combination. I think definitely Surya is pushing here. But apparently it's not liked very much by the bar. Like bar कहता है Queen F5 मारो, but psychologically you're thinking Black has just offered the trade of queens. If the most logical thing, like in a blitz match, I mean I'm sure you'll agree, कोई blitz में आपका Queen F5 खेलेगा, your first instinct is don't take the queen, yeah? Just play Queen E3.
ट्रू, बिकॉज आई
फेयर
हैव द
फेयर.
सेंटर, आई वांट अटैक पोटेंशियली, सारा अटैक खत्म. Bishop 6 तो आ ही रहा है as you mentioned earlier to get the c2 square. So tough position for Danny Yuffa and Rakesh bhai.
एंड
हाँ बोलो
बोलो
बोलो.
बोलो.
नहीं मैं आपका
मैम
वो
स्पीकिंग
क्वेश्चन
ऑफ
बोला था, maybe you have some points for this game. Yeah.
Sage bhai, we saw that Cyprus was attacked yesterday. तो क्या लगता है आपको कैंडिडेट्स होगा साइप्रस में, और व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स ऑन दैट सैज भाई? एंड हाउ डू द प्लेयर्स स्पेशली प्रग, क्योंकि अपना इंडियन इंटरेस्ट है, हाउ डज ही लाइक कॉम्बैट दैट एस्पेक्ट?
No, I don't think, I mean, this is in our control, yeah. And
करेक्ट. ट्रू ट्रू.
so
या.
I'm just, I mean, I'm in a same situation right now. मुझे नहीं पता मैं यहाँ पे कब तक रहूंगा साउथ अफ्रीका में, but it's not in my control. So, I mean, I think the same advice for the players. You can only change, you should only think about things that you can control, that's in your control. I mean, hoping that it gets, resolved soon. But
फेयर फेयर.
yeah, but I'm not sure why. I mean, the situation is, it just began, so we don't know the developments. By the way, look at this knight g5 attacking the e6 pawn. Bhai, that looks scary. And if you play knight d4, chat, आपके लिए गर्मा गर्म सवाल. Knight d4, why is this a mistake, chat?
विंसेंट कैसे देख रहा है यार? He's like,
भाई उसको मेरा क्वेश्चन, अभी उसको वो भी सोच रहा है कि नाइट d4 क्यों नहीं काम कर रहा है. चैट
हाँ.
विंसेंट से पहले निकालो रुक d4. अरे तो मैंने चाल ही बोल दी.
Shit.
सॉरी.
Sahaj bhai
Actually,
spitting facts and
सहज
answers.
भाई आप
someone had said Rook D. In my defense, someone had said Rook D4 before though. So
विंसेंट से पहले निकाला रुक
आदित्य
दी.
ना, आदित्य भाई तो हॉल में बैठे ना, so he could see the future. That's why.
हाँ.
अरे 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 आदित्य भाई.
How are you, Sahaj bhai? Good to see you back commentating. Please come daily. बिल्कुल भाई. We missed you all, Sahaj bhai, and Sahaj bhai will be back.
Yes,
First of all, पहले
yes.
देश भी वापस आ जाए. And उसके
या
बाद
भाई.
फिर कैंडिडेट, Sahaj भाई कैंडिडेट्स आने वाला है. एंड हमने बहुत डिस्कस किया कि कौन जीतेगा, कौन कोई पहुंचेगा कि नहीं पहुंचेगा. बट लाइक do you think at the end we'll have like a candidate from India? Like if we had to bet a Maggie right now, either way, like women's or open, do you think we'll have a candidate at the end of the
Yes.
candidates कि हाँ भाई कोई बना है?
Yes. Yes. Please don't ask me a follow-up question.
हाँ वो दो ही शायद पूछूंगा, ज्यादा नहीं. Which one?
नहीं नहीं भाई नहीं not down. वाह वाह. इस मोमेंट पे ना जब आगे जाके जब वो सच होगा ना या फिर जो मैंने बोला वो नहीं सच होगा then people will make edits about this.
भाई
नहीं
देखो
भाई.
अगर गलत होगा तो कोई याद रखेगा नहीं, सही होगा तो लोग कहेंगे
भाई
भाई
जो
देखो.
चैट देख रहे हैं उनको 94 दिखेगा. चैट he hasn't played 94. There was Rook D4 there.
हाँ,
That's not the live
this is
board.
like
But
position
Sahaj
game.
चेंज कर
भाई,
दो भाई वो.
ओपन में या वुमेन्स में क्या लगता है, हायर चांस कहाँ पे है
ये तो
फॉर अ
मैं this will
कैंडिडेट?
give away the answer no. अबे हायर चांस ऑब्वियसली वुमेन्स में है भाई. देयर आर थ्री
क्योंकि थ्री,
like players there are
हाँ हाँ,
statistically of course it's the women's. I mean last year when Gukesh time when Gukesh won it was also three Indians who played in the candidate. So
करेक्ट
it's kind of
करेक्ट.
the same, yeah. Same probability I would say. I would give. But let's see why. कैन
चलो
इंडियंस कम
मैं,
टॉप थ्री. भाई टॉप थ्री तो नहीं होगा बिकॉज दो ही खेल रहे हैं एक इवेंट में एंड दो दूसरे इवेंट में. बट standing wise, why it is looking very, very sad for the Indian players. I have to say they're both on 1.5 out of 5. Gukesh is still winless, but this could be his golden opportunity. I feel like it's very easy to go wrong here for Arvind. You know, like as we just showed you, knight d4 is such a big blunder because of rook d4. Yes, it's a simple tactic, but still, when easy moves like that do not work for you, then that's how you know you're in trouble. Like making a move like knight d8, I mean, we can see it in front of a bar, we can say it says knight d8, but on the board, playing the knight back on, on the back rank, disconnecting your rooks, it just feels odd. You're kind of accepting कि आपकी position already खराब है, and I feel this is what his chance lies for Gukesh. Oh, by the way, he goes bishop e5. That's a
Wait,
mistake,
what?
no?
Wait, that's a mistake. That's a big mistake actually.
दैट्स अ ह्यूज मिस्टेक भाई.
By I okay, if I go knight c4, what is your plan? क्या bishop किधर रखोगे आप d4 पे?
Because yeah, d4 was, I was thinking यही होगा, but then isn't 96 just like takes the pawn back and takes the bishop and I develop and I'm just
ठीक है,
like
तो बिशप
decrease like
वर्सेस
this, huh?
नाइट और पॉन दोनों साइड पे तो बिशप
भाई
स्लाइटली सुपीरियर है. बट इतना
look at
सुपीरियर
this.
क्यों है भाई?
King d7
होल्ड
only
ऑन.
move, right? That's the main. I think that's the main point. You have to come to the
किंग
d5.
b7 में क्या हो रहा है?
King b7 पे apparently it's lost after
क्यों?
knight d6. भाई तो कोई
किंग
मेट लग रही
a6
है
ओ
मुझे
रुक
king
d3.
a6 knight.
भाई किंग a6 इसमें रुक
King
d3 है
a6
क्या?
knight c7 check. King a5 bishop d2 check. King
नहीं
a4
नहीं 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 नहीं
b3
नहीं.
check.
भाई मिस कर दिया. देयर इज अ बेटर वन. नाइट c4
हाँ
चेक पहले खेलो.
ओके यहाँ पे
हाँ, किंग a4.
भाई ये
वाओ,
मेट नहीं है, किंग
ओके.
b4 है अब.
अब अरे यार आप बोर कर रहे हो यार. ओ नहीं नहीं नहीं,
अरे
मेट है.
भाई
नहीं यार,
है
नहीं है
क्या?
मेट, छोड़ो.
आई थिंक
नहीं है,
है
नहीं
बट
नहीं.
89 है यहाँ पे.
लाइक बिशप d2 कुछ वो मतलब कुछ फैंसी करना पड़ेगा. फैंसी नहीं करना था मुझे.
भाई ये भी मेट इन 5 एक्चुअली. इंजन ऑल्सो फिगर आउट. अपने b3 पहले खेलना है बस. दैट्स द डिफरेंस.
अरे रुक सैक. बिशप a3.
या बिशप
सॉरी,
e3
बिशप
आ गया.
a1.
बिशप a1 एंड नाउ रुक
थोड़ा कुछ
d3.
ब्यूटीफुल सा कोई मेट. अरे a3
ओ
मेट कर रहा है भाई. पॉन की मेट कर रहा है. इफ आई गो बिशप c3 देन बिशप a3 इज मेट, या.
वाओ. बट ओके आई थिंक गोइंग बैक, सो दिस इज डेंजरस. सो नाइट c4 के बाद बिशप d4 नाइट e6, यू हैव टू प्ले किंग टू d7 एंड इसके बाद नाइट d4 एंड यू कैन इमेजिन यार नाइट d4 b4 आ रहा है, बिशप e3 आ रहा है. जस्ट लुक्स बेटर फॉर व्हाइट एंड ब्लैक के पीसेस
भाई
गेट टेकन.
b4 तो looks, I mean, insane. Like I have to say, if I can play b4, take that pawn on c5, आपका pawn isolated, that pawn definitely is gonna get taken at some point. एंड ये I mean गुकेश मतलब वर्स पोजीशंस खेलता है ये तो मतलब दिस विल गो ऑन like गुकेश will press a lot here I think a golden opportunity for the world champion to score his first win.
साइड एनर्जी इज बैक भाई. अगर इंडियन जीतेंगे तो अरे भाई यू हैव टू बी किडिंग मी व्हाट.
Oops, never mind. Wait, knight f7 he played, so he's going for the exchange. ठीक है. तो if I go rook f8 तो घटिया चल है. नाइट e6 चेक है मेरे पास. If I go rook e8 then knight e5 bishop f4 में आपका नाइट मर रहा है. तो my guess is this is not lost. rook e8 में knight e6 के बाद क्या हो रहा है भाई? Why is the okay, it is going up. Knight f7, there we go. So this is option number one, and option number two is that you say bishop d4 and just sack your entire rook. Now, if we are speaking about in terms of the engine तो कह रहा है ये position equal है, but do we feel this is equal? Like I'm an exchange up, pawns are equal. Do we feel this is equal?
यू नो भाई, टू मी इट लुक्ड इक्वल. बट जितना मैं वो बार इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहा है मेरा दिमाग अभी, जो वैसे भी कम चलता है और कम चल रहा है. एंड apparently if you take the rook directly, that's a big mistake. And
अच्छा.
knight e6, king d6 is the move you have to find.
हाँ तो
And इसके
पहले
बाद
knight
black
d6
is,
मारो ना.
हाँ, so
पहले knight
पहले you
d6
take
ताकि
on
king
d6,
d6
yes.
ना आए.
हाँ, but that's
Correct.
already like, you might play the other move order, yeah, not expecting king d6. So
भाई खेल दिया उसने bishop d4.
wow, brilliance
भाई
है भाई.
ब्रिलियंसी. लेट्स गो. नाइट टेक्स e6 चेक खेला मैंने. अब ओ इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट भाई, किंग d7 ओनली मूव. किंग को आप कहीं और नहीं रख सकते. किंग b7 जाओगे तो वापस नाइट d6 चेक एंड वो मेट हो रही है ए फाइल पे.
Wow, so let's have a look. यहाँ पे आए किंग b7 गया,
किंग
नाइट
b7
d6.
जाओगे तो नाइट d6 जी जी भाई.
हाँ, और क्या देखा था हमने? किंग,
किंग d7 ओनली चाल है.
हाँ,
एंड
सॉरी
यहाँ
दिस
पर
नाइट
यू आर
समझा.
हैव टू टेक ऑन d4. ब्लैक टेक्स बैक विद द पॉन. यू टेक ऑन h8. ब्लैक टेक्स बैक एंड okay, this does look a bit scary, I'm not gonna lie.
स्केरी फॉर whom भाई? आई थिंक
This
अरविंद की बेटर लग रही है ना.
भाई scary. हाँ हाँ, scary for Gukesh भाई. This looks
भाई
actually quite
मुकेश
scary for Gukesh.
loses chat just in case, okay, not to be the devil's advocate here, but if he loses he will go to world number, I think 20 or something. Yeah, he'll go to world number 20. I don't know how comfortable you feel about that. Just above hands.
भाई वो रैपोर्ट के अराउंड हो जाएगा फिर वो डिंग का जो सेकंड था.
मेरी तबीयत फिर खराब हो रही है. He has to. I mean, a draw is okay, of course, but हार नहीं सकते यार. But time situation is very tricky for him.
I
Again,
mean, I really
it's not
think
that.
like we shouldn't emphasize that much on rating anyways. Like वो तो ऊपर नीचे होते रहते हैं. मैं look at the example of Jordan for example. या 2690 से 6 months के अंदर you're 2740. I mean that's it. Just takes a couple of good tournaments or like or well a couple of great tournaments or a few good tournaments. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think Gukesh will do it, as well. We know he's very much capable of it.
But
But
I think it's
Abhi,
more
can he
like,
save this position though?
it's more like he's playing Prague Masters where he's in the top three seeds and he's -2, tied for last place. If he were to lose this, he will be in last place 100% alone on
Yeah,
one and
but
a
you
half
you
out of
understand that the
six.
year hasn't gone the best for him. Yeah, I mean so far. I mean, I would say Tata Steel was not the best. I mean, to be honest, like it hasn't been great past few months. I think you need a couple of good results in some events to start feeling confident again. And अभी वो confidence आया नहीं है वापस. That's just my
True,
honest
true,
opinion.
yeah.
I don't think this has anything to do with his style or his strength. I mean, for sure we know he's capable of playing much stronger than this. Um, but I think
Exactly.
when you're
So what
feeling
can
a
he do
certain
now?
way, एक ना like I'll give you an example. एक ना वो एक छोटा सा luck factor चाहिए होता है आपको. Like like you are in a dead loss position and your opponent blunders. Then you completely get that confidence back. ठीक है, I can win a couple of games and you start feeling like yourself again.
Hmm.
Like I felt this way, for example, when I lost those 5 games in a row. It was like 2 years ago, and 5 games I have never in a row. Yeah, I mean, imagine what that does to you. But I was lucky that next round, mein, like my opponent was the one who offered me the draw on move 5. Like I had no desire to play, but I got a lucky break there, and उसके बाद से I started to make a comeback. But वो छोटा सा एक वो luck factor I think important रहता है.
I think agreed.
फेयर
And
एंड डिजाइन विंड भाई सहज भाई बोल रहे हैं कि सहज भाई का ऑरा ही अलग है.
अरे 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 भाई, ये साउथ अफ्रीकन हेमिस्फेरिक का वो, वो है
भाई
भाई.
नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फीयर तक फील हो रहा है,
पढ़
इमेजिन.
रहा था मैं सब कुछ. आई वाज
हाँ
वाचिंग
वही तो.
एवरीथिंग जस्ट सो यू नो.
बट सहज भाई मतलब of course you deserve all the praise, but if you come back to the live position भाई, 24 minutes for 22 moves for the world champion. What is going on here? Knight into e6 मुझे तो
भाई
एकदम नॉर्मल चाल लग रही है.
भाई अच्छा. Like, if I can be fully honest with you, with you guys, like 96, if he doesn't find, then I think Arvind can definitely win this match.
ओ
But
भाई
क्योंकि King
भाई
D6 is
भाई.
not a hard move भाई. If I can be honest, like takes Knight H8 Rook H8 Knight D6 के बाद, like I can only choose between D7 and D6. ठीक है, और मुझे पता है एंड गेम में तो मैं अपना किंग सेंटर में रखूंगा ना, मतलब like why will I go to
फेयर
D7? D5
फेयर
पे
या.
सेंटर है तो मैं D6 जाऊंगा. So if this happens, I mean Gukesh
फेयर.
is in some trouble. But if he takes on E6 first and then takes on H8, then I think it's holdable territory.
फॉर अरविंद या गुकी.
अभी तो यार थोड़ा गुकेश को बचाना चाहिए आई थिंक. वो बिशप D4 पे जो बैठा हुआ है दैट इज लुकिंग वेरी वेरी स्केरी. आई एम नॉट श्योर व्हाट ही मिस बिकॉज़ आई थिंक ही क्लियरली मिस समथिंग. Maybe it was bishop D4, maybe it was, yeah, भाई 96 check के बाद he missed king D7 possible है, क्योंकि it's very easy to miss something like that because पिछली मूव पे बिशप D फाइल पे को कोई मतलब कंट्रोल नहीं कर रहा था. It's easy to have
ट्रू. ट्रू.
misses like that. So I'm not sure what he missed, but I think he missed something for sure. But it's still very much holdable territory for the world champion.
Yeah, and Yash in the chat saying, I love this analysis by Grandmaster Sage Bhai. So Sage Bhai, lots of love for you in the chat. What would you say has been like a revolution for you in from the Prague Masters event?
इतना मतलब I didn't follow it that closely. I mean I was watching the games, I
बट
was
ऐसा
watching the
हाँ,
commentary
क्या
here and
आपको
there,
अजीब लगा,
but
मतलब क्या
यार
हटके लगा?
अजीब अजीब मुझे ये लगा कि first of all Nodirbek भाई, like I was very
हाँ हाँ.
surprised at his at his opening choice yesterday against Gukesh. I mean, and I mean I understand he wants to have a game, but still to go into that, I mean yeah, that was very brave. मुझे लग रहा था कि I mean Gukesh will win, but I think he managed to complicate things, and whatever happened happened. But yeah, that game was, I think, it was very impressive from Nodirbek's side. Number one, and then of course Jordan. Bhai, Jordan is I think performing at an insane level. Like he has defeated now Vincent Keymer, Gukesh, Yakubboev, and then Hans back to back. Why this is a rampage,
Insane.
Wow.
essentially.
और भाई समथिंग एल्स दैट इज इनसेन दैट चैट इज आल्सो पॉइंटिंग आउट. भाई 22 मूव है गुकेश के पास और 22 मिनट है. Do you think this position is worth like 1 minute per move? I mean, I feel it's complicated. What about you, Grandmaster G?
ये पोजीशन वाइट के लिए आई थिंक थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है भाई.
हाँ
21 मिनट में
मतलब.
तो आप पैनिक करोगे भाई 100%. अगर इंक्रीमेंट नहीं है भाई, आई एम पैनिकिंग फॉर द लास्ट आवर. ये पोजीशन देख के तो भाई एकदम
करेक्ट.
इट लुक्स स्कैरी.
करेक्ट.
बिकॉज वो
तो
बिशप
ऐसा.
मूव नहीं कर रहा ना C1 से यार. लाइक हाउ डू यू मूव दैट? दैट B2 pawn is
करेक्ट.
always hanging.
या. या. And do you think like
Oh, played.
oh go on, Gukesh plays
Nice.
96 check.
Now king D7
भाई
is just automatic. Okay, Arvind board पे नहीं है अभी,
हाँ, but
but
that's
I'm guessing it's
obvious.
just
But
automatic.
yeah, yeah, Tikuba and Gukesh भाई, Can you just answer in one word? Who is in the driver's seat in this position?
Nobody. One word देना था ना भाई.
Fair, fair.
I
Okay,
would
nobody.
say I would say Arvind hai. Arvind hai for sure. At least for now, based on the time and the position, I think for sure it is Arvind. You can also
Fair.
look at the body
Sure.
language of Gukesh bhai. It doesn't look comfortable at all.
And one question for you, Sajbhai and Rakesh bhai in chat. I don't know if this is जो ट्वीट के बारे में लोग बात कर रहे हैं. आई जस्ट हैड अ लुक एट दैट ट्वीट. जो क्रामनिक जी एसेंशियली कह रहे हैं वो ये कह रहे हैं कि हिकारू जी का एक टूर्नामेंट सही टाइम पे रजिस्टर नहीं हुआ था. एंड this must be verifiably true or false, right? Like it's not something which you can just conjure up. So I
हाँ.
mean, he's basically saying कि Hikaru should not qualify to the candidates.
ओ हाँ, मतलब अब बोल रहा हूँ ग्रे एरिया नहीं है.
I
इट्स
don't know
इधर
bhai.
क्वालिफाई हुआ है या नहीं हुआ, राइट?
हाँ, because वो कजाकिन रेटिंग हट गई ना, because he didn't register that tournament 30 days prior. So now वो कह रहे हैं कि भाई उसका नहीं हुआ तो उसका भी नहीं होना चाहिए. Basically, essentially वही बोल
But
रहे हैं.
इसमें हिकारू की गलती थोड़ी ना है.
नहीं,
I
हिकारू
mean,
की नहीं है. वही वो कह रहा है. वो कह रहा है कि बेसिकली हिकारू को नहीं होना चाहिए. बाकी वो होना चाहिए, नोदरबेक होना चाहिए. Like because next बंदा वो
no,
है
I
basically.
think he's proposing कि आप candidates के players आप increase कर दो. Like instead of I think 14 players, you have 16, and I think he
हाँ,
mentioned Nodirbek and Arjun in that conversation.
हाँ.
And I mean I don't know like I think कोई भी player इस चीज से comfortable नहीं होगा if I can be honest because
Apart from
you've
Arjun
already
and
done your
Nodirbek, yeah,
preparation.
who are very
Yeah,
comfortable.
they will be very happy of course, but okay, like I think for everyone else, I mean it's also extra
Yeah.
days that you are preparing, and also generally candidates में 14 players रहते हैं, right?
Hmm.
I think at least that's what the norm has been. So I mean I don't really know enough to have an opinion about this, but I think Hikaru को replace तो नहीं करना चाहिए. That's for sure. Like you don't tell someone
Yeah.
के एक महीना पहले कि ये टूर्नामेंट अभी रजिस्टर नहीं हुआ था. इसमें प्लेयर्स थोड़ी ना चेक करते हैं
हाँ,
टूर्नामेंट का
हमारी
ये
गलती
सब.
है बट आप आपका नुकसान है. Like that's not how it can work.
Yeah,
So like, but
exactly.
the only thing is like it must be verifiable. And if let's say you are Nodirbek, right, and you have verified this information to be true, I mean, you would of course subject now, even if you have not done it earlier. Like it's just like a human thing. Like if you get to play candidates, it's been taken away in any form. Like you might object now. So this could be a
I'm
big
not so
controversy.
sure. I'm not so sure if that happens, but yeah, I mean it could become a huge controversy भाई. अब speaking of वो Netflix पे वो भी आ रही है भाई डॉक्यूमेंट्री आपने देखा?
भाई मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ यार राकेश भाई. मतलब आई थिंक इट्स
Let's
7th April, या
go.
समथिंग लाइक
राकेश
दैट.
भाई, any opinions?
मतलब जो 7 अप्रैल को आने वाली है, वो वाली, लाइक
हाँ
हांस
जी
वर्सेस
वाली, हाँ जी वही वाली
मैग्नस.
वही. हाँ जी.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the rare occasions, where you get paid to watch Netflix, Tico bhai. So I'm
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग.
looking forward to that for sure.
या
But bhai, popcorn full ready होके, but that's gonna be during the candidates. So that's a toughie.
Ooh, spicy, spicy. प्लेयर्स भी वही देख रहे होंगे भाई, मैं बता रहा हूँ.
हाँ,
सेकंड्स को बोल रहे होंगे
सही
भाई
में
तू
भाई.
राकेश
तुम प्रिपेयर करो, मैं ये डॉक्यूमेंट्री देख के आ रहा हूँ.
भैया वो कोई कैमियो तो नहीं है उसके अंदर, डॉक्यूमेंट्री के अंदर?
I cannot reveal, I cannot
ओह.
ac- accept or deny anything that you say. So, Idachet played, by the way, Guki ke dwara. Rukachet played, and I don't know, like, call me crazy, but I somehow would prefer black in this position, bhai.
क्रेजी भाई, आई अग्री.
हम्म.
आई थिंक ब्लैक थोड़ा सा बेटर लग रहा है.
But bhai, 20 मिनट है. Gukesh, Mr. World Champion. What about that?
भाई दिस इज, आई मीन द थिंग इज जीतने के चांसेस कितने हैं वाइट के? आई वुड से वेरी लो, या बिकॉज ये पॉन्स आर
I
सो
mean आप
स्ट्रांग.
तभी जीतोगे जब आप ओवर प्रेस कर रहे हो ब्लैक से, आई गेस.
हाँ,
ब्लैक को
हाँ,
ड्रॉ करना है तो वो तो आसान है इधर.
अग्रीड.
हाँ,
एंड
हाँ, correct.
और व्हाइट की चालें भी देखो भाई, बिशप ई3 कौन चूज करेगा इधर? लाइक आई मीन यू चूज बिशप जी5 और बिशप एफ4 तो नहीं
या
खेलूंगा मैं, खैर बिशप जी5 मेक्स द मोस्ट सेंस, बट लाइक बिशप ई3 इज एंड रुक सी1 इज आई मीन टू टैक्टिकल.
And
Not
these are the
sure if
only
that
moves, by
is
the way.
human.
Bishop e3 or bishop g5. If you don't find this, then you're even worse, like seriously worse. So, although makes sense, which will develop karna hi hai. So it's not like so complicated for a world champion. But Rakesh bhai, as you mentioned, like 20 minutes now to play 19 moves. Like Arvind ke
Correct?
point of view, se
Yeah.
just drag this game as long as possible and see what happens.
Great point, Diku bhai.
Yeah.
And uh, Grandmaster G, I would actually go on and say, like, hot take hai thoda, but I think Gukesh might lose this one. What are your thoughts on that?
Mm, early days, I think. Very early days.
Okay,
And AK 20 minutes. Yeah, I mean, if you are asking me situation reversed hoti, Gukesh Black se hota same time, pressure mein you could say, okay, ठीक है. White. Definitely Gukesh is in trouble, but it's still early days. Like he plays exceptionally well, I think, in faster formats, and
true, true.
especially
Yeah,
lately, I think he's been playing very well. So I think he's still more or less safe. And अभी वो एक वो दिमाग में ना एक वो अलार्म बज गया होगा कि ठीक है now I'm not playing for a win, let me equalize this first. So
fair,
that's a
fair.
very good
Yeah,
sign because usually वो अलार्म बहुत late बजता है. And it usually happens when you're almost already lost. So here he's not lost, and of course he realizes he's in a worse position. So I think he might just surprise you and just might find Bishop e3 Rook c1 this entire sequence, which we think is kind of very difficult.
Hmm.
correct. But I think Gukesh might spend a little bit of time, and Chad also agrees. Connected pass phones for Black. They think Arvind is in the driver's seat. But Teko bhai, can we quickly switch to Divya Deshmukh because she's under 30 minutes, and Chad feels her position is a little tricky.
Ooh, another time trouble
That's
situation. पॉन स्ट्रक्चर ब्रोकन साज भाई, मेरे को तो ट्रॉमा हो रहा है पॉन्स देख के, क्या लग रहा है आपको?
भाई मतलब पहली चीज तो आई वुडंट रियली से इट्स टाइम प्रेशर टेरिटरी 8 ही मिनट का फर्क है या इट्स अ वरी फॉर श्योर बट आई वुडंट से इट्स लाइक something that has to be fixed right now. I think she has managed it. I mean, at least it's closer to her opponent. Yeah, Gukesh ke case mein like there's a 30-minute difference. That's pretty big. And as far as the position is concerned, those pawns on a3 and a2 just look off. The queen a8 is incoming, and rook a3 तो मतलब बच ही नहीं रहा है unless you play bishop c1, which again it's one of those moves you make when you are ठीक है, you are admitting okay ठीक है मेरी position is not the best. But I think it's more or less equal now. If but I'm guessing Divya is like at some point she would have to make some only moves to survive in the game.
भाई
So
25
still on
मिनट
the
में
defense, but much better than before.
25 में 26 मूव खेलने हैं. That is just insanely tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is very very tough though. भाई दूसरे केसेस में आपके पास 18 minutes हैं and you have to play 19 moves. That's I think
Witty
scarier for Gukesh.
Witty Alien drew against Arjun Erigasi in Title Tuesday. Why
क्या
Indians
बात कर रहे हो?
why Indians स्ट्रगल
भाई
कर रहे हैं
क्या
थोड़ा सा.
बात कर रहे हो?
चैट क्या रही है भाई?
अच्छा अभी चल रहा है क्या?
हाँ ट्यूसडे है ना आज.
I'll take a look.
चल रहा होगा. Meanwhile, Arjun also playing Bundesliga. He gained some points. And luckily, that's why we have one Indian in World Top 10. Otherwise, it would already be uh, Van Forest.
Saj bhai, Chris Kane's our mod in the chat is saying, they are playing in the open section. Grand Swiss maybe, and even here in the challenges section. Do you think that helps her in the candidates prep? What are your thoughts?
Not not prep necessarily, but I think it will help with keeping consistent, like keeping yourself like for practice. I think it definitely helps a lot. And I think before you play such a big event, you have to be in good shape. So I think that's probably why she's trying to play more and more events. That when the candidates happens, like she's not feeling like okay. कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है like you prepare so much, but you haven't done anything on the chessboard. Yeah, then it can be difficult to kind of make a comeback. So yeah, from that perspective, I think it's a good call to play this event for practice. I think it can do wonders. चैट सेइंग भाई टाइटल ट्यूसडे इज अनप्रिडिक्टेबल, एक बार परहम मकसूदलू को फ्री स्टाइल में नीतीश बेलुरकर ने हराया था। अरे आई थिंक आई सॉ दैट गेम, आई थिंक आई सॉ दैट गेम, यस। बट ओके, लाइक इट्स ब्लिट्स, यार ब्लिट्स में तो कुछ भी पॉसिबल होता है, बट डू कंसिडर द फैक्ट दैट दिस इज 5 minutes नॉट 3+1 एनीमोर। सो पिछले वाले टाइटल ट्यूसडेज में इट वाज मोर कॉमन। 5+0 में I'm guessing it's less common, but I think a player like Witty, in Blitz, I mean, he should be able to hold, yeah. I mean, if we play long enough games. So I think it's very, very nice from him.
Also, I think like people, streamers usually end up playing it every Tuesday. So of course, like in a couple of months, they're gonna have like an upset or two. And also, like I remember Levy ne haraya tha Vidit ko like with E4, C5, A3. Like he Vidit
हाँ भाई,
defeated
मुझे
Vidit
नाइट
once.
ए3 में खेल के आ रहा था, वो भी तो
चलो भाई,
वो
लेकिन
वो
मैग्नस
वो
खत्म भाई,
याद नहीं आपको?
मैग्नस के साथ
सहज भाई, वो
मैग्नस थोड़ा सा
मैग्नेस
भाई
अलग है
दो
भाई।
बार भाई, 2 बार भाई, मतलब मैं
तो
मैं
आप
इतनी मैं
वीक
इतना
हो तो क्या कर
प्रिपरेशन करके
सकते हो?
बैठा हूँ ना भाई। मैं तुम्हें बता नहीं सकता, सोडियम अटैक को मैं मतलब लाइक आई एम जस्ट वेटिंग भाई नेक्स्ट टाइम।
भाई सोडियम अटैक तो होता जो मुझे सुबह हुआ था। आपको तो कार्लसन अटैक हुआ था भाई। कार्लसन
भाई वो
कुछ भाई,
बट
कार्लसन अगर दो
कमिंग
मूव पास
बैक,
भी कर दे जीत जाएगा वो। क्रेजी है।
भाई लोग कमिंग बैक, चेस मॉल बोल रहे हैं 16 minutes फॉर गुकेश एंड टाइम कंट्रोल इज फार ऑफ, ही
भाई
इज अ
14 मिनट।
लिटिल बिट वरिड। हाँ 14 भाई, टाइम तो मतलब धीरे धीरे कम होते जा रहा है
कुछ
फॉर
डिले है
गुकेश।
क्या भाई?
नहीं 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 भाई, दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट। लाइक 2 सेकेंड्स का वेरिएंस हो सकता है। एंड सायज भाई, आर यू स्टिल लाइक इन दैट जोन की दिस इज ओके फॉर मुकेश, और आर यू स्ट्रेस्ड लाइक मी? बहुत डर लग रहा
भाई
है भाई अब।
14 minute is too less भाई.
भाई
It's getting
आई एम
too close for
एक्सट्रीमली
comfort.
वरिड।
Let's just put it like that. That means he hasn't seen bishop e3. He hasn't seen like he's not he's unsure. And he already knows कि अगर कुछ if he doesn't play the most accurate moves, it is possible that he's worse. Or then he would have to defend that position for the next what 19 moves in 14 minutes. So it's a tough, tough, tough decision.
Wow. Oh man, Gukesh, 13 minutes now to play 19 moves. And he doesn't look like he's ready to make a move just yet. तो कम से कम 2 मिनट तो और लगेंगे।
Yeah, 100%. So, 13 minutes, why no increment, Gukesh? This is
That Arvind might
भाई
win this
स्ट्रेस तो
one
है यार।
is suddenly looking true.
यश भाई का सवाल है, व्हाट इफ FIDE includes Arjun and Nodirbek? I don't think they will include it as a randomly. If there is a genuine point, like I'm just curious because Rakesh, you were already discussing no कि मतलब वहां पर थोड़ा
Mm-hmm.
स्ट्राइक वाइक हो गई कुछ सिपरस में एक पॉइंट डाउन द सेकंड पॉइंट has come up before the
Mm-hmm.
candidates की भाई has Hikaru won it, so थोड़ा सा ना वो लग रहा है कि कैंडिडेट नजर लगती जा रही है। होगा नहीं होगा तो
सही
डाउट
में,
हो चुका है मुझे अब।
सही में भाई, सही में। एंड लाइक apparently from news, Hikaru is like 1 month away, but still he wants to like maybe acclimatize and he's in Cyprus, but none of the other players. So not sure there and how the candidates work or the prep works. But Saj bhai, do you have any insights about such high level prep?
I wish I could say yes, but not really why. But I mean, it's
Okay.
really important to acclimatize yourself with the place. But of course, the place is right now in yeah, it is possible why. But I think I'm guessing we just have to wait. Yeah, we just have to wait and see how the situation unfolds, and then we'll have a clearer picture
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on what's happening with the candidates. I'm guessing that's the best take. कहीं और भी हो सकता है. I
Also,
mean, that's also possible. You never know.
I don't think they can shift it at like at the same time though. Like they can possibly host it a few months later somewhere else, but same time
नहीं,
पे
हिस्ट्री में हुआ तो होगा पहले कभी भाई, कभी ना
नहीं,
कभी
but
तो हुआ
same
होगा
month
ये।
में नहीं हो पाएगा because I think the candidates requires like sponsors, it requires like people to come, all the players to come there, all the officials to venue का inspection करना पड़ेगा, just like happened for the World Cup right in India, which went very well. So बहुत सारी चीजें करनी है
हम्म।
हमें, and like I don't think they can host it in any other place unless it's in same city or something, but that doesn't help anybody. So candidates अगर अभी नहीं हुआ, जो सुपर कहीं और कहीं चेंज नहीं कर पाएंगे, then it will happen later, which is not really ideal because nobody gets time to prepare neither, or a calendar packed है, there is no space to put the candidates anywhere else. So अगर कुछ drama हुआ तो मैं भी ऐसे वो सामने वाले का स्पेक्स पहन के घूमेंगे सहज और राकेश भाई, कुछ करने को है नहीं फिर।
भाई वो तो ड्रिप है भाई। लेट्स गो भाई, बट 10 minutes, व्हाट्स हैपनिंग? 10 minutes is crazy.
भाई इतना तो हमने भी एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था यार। नाउ इट्स भाई दिस इज
It's
आई थिंक
like
ही इज जेन्युइनली
officially
स्ट्रगलिंग।
30 seconds. Right? 30 seconds per move, yeah.
ही इज स्ट्रगलिंग, ही इज जेन्युइनली स्ट्रगलिंग आई फील। ही इज नॉट एबल टू सी अ प्लान टू इक्वलाइज, अदरवाइज वुड हैव प्लेड बाय नाउ। क्योंकि जितना टाइम उसने इस मूव पे इस्तेमाल किया है 12 मिनट, तो टाइम बचा नहीं है। ही यूज्ड मोर देन हाफ हिज टाइम।
Yeah. Also, यार कल का लॉस आई थिंक मुकेश को हर्ट किया होगा काफी, especially because of how much better he was. Yeah, okay, it wasn't clear. Like it was a complicated position and everything, but when you go back, you check your computer, then okay, you feel really, I don't know, okay,
या
such a big mess, yeah.
या अग्रीड।
I'm guessing it hurt him.
या अच्छा, दुनिया में बहुत चल रहा है, बहुत चीजें चल रही है, यू डोंट इवन नो यार। मतलब एयर स्पेसेस क्लोज हो रही हैं, कॉन्स्टेंटली ओपन हो रही हैं। सो डायनामिक वर्ल्ड, होपफुली द कैंडिडेट्स हैपेंस एज प्लान्ड। एंड ज़्यादा ड्रामा ड्रामा इज ओके व्हेन इट हैपेंस बिटवीन द प्लेयर्स, बट ऐसा ड्रामा which cancels tournaments or puts a question mark on them is not ideal. Meanwhile, less than 10 minutes now, राकेश भाई, मतलब चैट आपकी डांट की डिमांड कर रही है भाई फिर से।
Yes, जिसके
So after our gambits, the air gambit and Puja gambit didn't work in Tata Steel. A couple of times we tried. Rakesh bhai has a new gambit. It's called Dart Gambit, which did work once. So we've tried it once.
लाइक
It
वो
worked.
डांट लगाते हैं प्लेयर्स को या फिर क्या?
हाँ, सेकंड टाइम उन्होंने बहुत लेट कर दिया, which was already lost by then. So
हम्म
हाँ, 1 लाख टू 1 player वो भी काम करी थी बाद में, लेकिन वो फिर तब भी हार गया मुकेश। एक बार वो काम कर गई थी,
ये तो
लेकिन इट वर्कड
1 लाख
टेम्पररी।
इक्वल 1 prayer इज लाइक वो तो सस्ता वाला पूजा गैम्बिट हो गया ना, तो
हाँ, बट इट्स लाइक इट हैज क्लियर इंस्ट्रक्शंस, राइट? एक होता है लेट्स गेट मोर सेल्स, एक होता है लेट्स गेट मोर सेल्स बाय 25%। इट्स मोर प्रिसाइज। सो आई अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई इट
यार
वर्क्स।
अभी मैं वो नोटपैड ढूंढ रहा हूँ अपना, वो टाइम स्टैम्प लिखने के लिए टिक्कू भाई का वो कंपैरिजन वाला मोमेंट आ गया चैट,
नहीं नहीं,
इफ
बट
यू नो
स्टिल
व्हाट आई
लाइक,
मीन।
बट आर यू वरीड नाउ? इट्स 8 minutes टू प्ले 19 moves.
भाई हमें टाइम गलत तो नहीं दिख रहा ना? मुकेश को पता है 8 मिनट से यहाँ पे
I mean, it looks relaxed. He's not like in a hurry to play.
दिस लुक्स वे।
भाई पीछे वाले 4 बंदे में ज्यादा स्ट्रेस लग रहे हैं भाई। द फोर मस्कीटियर्स, देखो look at them, they are more stressed than गुकेश।
लास्ट वाला तो ठीक है, वो तो चिढ़ रहा है।
Sadly we bet on the wrong horse। एक और जख्म नहीं नहीं भाई, I think it's far away, and also let's keep in mind कि सामने भी अरविंद ही है। So this could be like a important game for Arvind also if you were to win। It's much different than,
भाई अरविंद ऑल्सो लाइक डिफीटिंग हांस इज क्रेजी है।
but then he didn't turn the tide, no, Sahaj bhai, he didn't use
Yeah,
that
that's
break।
true.
You talked about that luck factor, right? Arvind got that break, he got that lucky break, but he didn't use it। That's the frustrating part।
Hmm. Let's see,
सहज भाई,
भाई,
आपके
let's see
आते ही
what
मेरी तबीयत
happens.
थोड़ी बेटर
7
हो गई भाई। That's crazy।
अरे 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 भाई,
सहज
गेट
भाई,
वेल सून भाई।
lucky charm for my health, hopefully lucky charm for Indian players। So far गुकेश का टाइम देख के भाई 7 मिनट।
भाई क्रेजी लग रही है पोजीशन एक्चुअली, 7 minutes ऑन द डॉट। वाओ। एंड इट्स रियली नॉट सिंपल टू मेक मूव्स विद वाइट है कि किंग F1 जैसी चाल तो चलो ना एक बार। व्हाट्स हैपनिंग देयर?
किंग
इज इट लाइक सुपर बैड वाइट के लिए
किंग
किंग
F1,
F1 ना?
किंग F1,
इज इट लाइक सुपर बैड?
भाई इट्स -1.2।
अरे भाई भाई,
बट
दैट्स
किंग
व्हाट आई
तो
एम सेइंग
बेसिकली
ना कि
D5 लाना है।
like I'm saying king F1, is a type of move you make it again. I'm not sure बिशप को E3 पे रखना है, F4 पे रखना है, G5 पे रखना है। एक king F1 चलने दो, फिर उसके बाद नेक्स्ट मूव में डिसाइड करता हूँ मैं। That's a very human way to think, like
हाँ
in general. Like
या,
king तो आप सेंटर में रखना ही है आपको एंड गेम and all of that. So, but it's crazy that the position is so bad after just such an innocent looking move.
एंड ब्लैक का प्लान वेरी सिंपल। ब्लैक हैज ओनली वन प्लान, दिस। अगर ये प्लान उन्होंने निकाल दिया एंड गुकेश डजंट डू समथिंग अबाउट दीज पॉन्स, apparently it's just -1 throughout, and -1 with this position with no time 6 minutes. Oh my God, look at him. He's really not
भाई
happy.
मेरे को लग रहा है उसने कुछ ड्रॉ पूछा होगा अरविंद ने. यू थिंक दैट्स पॉसिबल
Oh, oh,
कि
that's a
अरविंद हैज ऑफर्ड अ
great
ड्रॉ
point.
हियर एंड इसीलिए गुकेश सोच रहा है इतना.
Hi, that's a great insight. But they can't ask draws till the 30th move, if I'm not mistaken.
हाँ रियली.
Yeah, but that would have been
ओके.
very logical, actually, explanation of what happened. But they can't ask draws till move 30. And wow.
भाई तो बहुत स्ट्रेस आ रहा है.
Okay, chat. So अब लोग कहते हैं इंजन की इस्तेमाल करते हो यहाँ पे करना पड़ेगा. So C3 obvious apparently is the only move. If you play B5 for
ऑब्वियस ऑल्सो
example,
है.
yeah, if B5 for example, then I think now it's not the same because somehow yeah, like this is falling apart a bit. I don't know how to convert it. Rook C1 and C3 पे just takes
हाँ
on
C3
C3.
पे रुक C3 ना. हाँ.
So this is falling apart. So you have to play C3. Now what do you do, Sahaj bhai? Like still bishop E3, I'm guessing. Oh, it's the only move.
बिशप E3 नाइट F5 खेला उसने C3 बाय द वे. गुकेश को
Huh.
फटाफट खेलना पड़ेगा. आई एम गेसिंग
Knight
अर्जुन
F5.
अरविंद विल आल्सो प्ले क्विकली. इफ आई रिमेंबर दैट गेम आई थिंक इट वाज अगेंस्ट थाई डाई वैन जो टाटा स्टील में अरविंद जीता था. I remember Thai Thai Van had like a completely winning position and Arvind had like this 50 minutes on the clock, but he kept
Hmm.
putting the pressure on the clock.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think if that worked, so abhi bhi I'm expecting Arvind to make moves like relatively quickly, put Gukesh under time pressure.
Yeah. And now bishop e3 only move played. Knight f5. जैसे यहाँ पे only move है ना. Let's just play it very quickly. मुकेश पे pressure डालना चाहिए अरविंद को. I agree with you. And राकेश भाई, I
तो
don't know
ये
if you're
तो
there.
ओनली चल है, ये तो फटाफट खेलो ना. ये तो और खेलोगे
हाँ,
क्या
राकेश
तुम.
भाई, what do you think? Like game किस तरफ जा रही है? Do you think Arvind is gonna pull off a win here?
हार्ड टू से भाई. राकेश भाई व्हाट डू यू थिंक.
राकेश भाई रो तो नहीं रहना भाई. भाई वो सब ठीक हो जाएगा भाई. जीत जाएंगे वो. भाई shit. Really? I can hear it. Okay. Rakesh bhai, I think washroom गए हैं chat. So he'll be back. अरे यार बेचारे आज सुबह literally he came in. Okay, now now I think it's gonna be okay. क्यों साथ में?
या आई नो.
Wow, crazy.
हाँ.
हाँ. Chat meanwhile, भाई रिंगटोन कॉपीराइट वाली तो नहीं है ना? वरना कल सुबह अलग ड्रामा चालू हो जाएगा. Meanwhile, Chad, by the way, Akwe just came in today morning from Germany, and because I was sick, like he also didn't have the option. Like we both were struggling to मुश्किल था. By the
भाई
way,
उसने
knight
नाइट एफ
f5.
फाइव रुक C1
हाँ,
खेल दिया भाई. अब किंग इसके बाद जीजी.
king e6. Bhai, look at this. King e6. You have to play bishop d2. Wow, what a move. But even then, you're worse. But wow, bishop d2. Wow, a tough position, man, for Gukesh. I think उन्होंने
वेरी
काफी
वेरी
सोचा
टफ
है.
पोजीशन. वेरी टफ पोजीशन.
By the way, big threat of rook takes c3 here. Pawn is pinned. Why is Mukesh is actually always lower than the opponents? Server, do you think like you've just played an event, Budapest में थोड़े time पहले, you played very well. Do you look at like accuracy as a metric on how well you played a game, or do you look at कि भाई I won, I lost, like certain critical moments?
No, I
Like do you
think
is
accuracy is a very big part for me.
Hmm.
Accuracy is a very big part. I mean, I think there's also a general feeling that you feel as a chess player कि ये गेम बहुत अच्छा था. बट यूजुअली जब वो फीलिंग आती है तब एक्यूरेसी मतलब ज़्यादा ही होती है. यू नो. तो
Hmm.
इट्स लाइक अ गिव एंड टेक देयर.
Hmm.
So for sure, I do look at my accuracy after the game, but
Yeah,
I'm
but I think
not.
do you
I
think
can't
पहले
say
था
for
ये?
Mukesh though.
This is like a post-COVID phenomena, yeah?
But
Accuracy becoming
पहले तो
more.
मतलब यार I mean engine I mean इतने resources नहीं थे. I mean I'm pretty
हाँ,
sure the game reviews वगैरह ये सब नहीं होता था पहले.
हाँ.
So it was difficult to get like a correct assessment. Plus engines were not as strong, yeah, as well.
Hmm.
So That also plays a part. By the way, 45 minutes for Arvind, and he is taking he's taking his time at the right possible moment. Yeah, King E6 is
Agreed.
crazy in this position, I have
Agreed.
to say.
And I think Arvind ke liye, this is such a huge opportunity. I think. Imagine if he loses this and he's last ranked and you're fighting for survival. Akhri teen round is like a torture statement. You beat the world champion, black pieces say, suddenly you're playing white. Good chance to win the next one. So it can completely turn around his entire tournament. And शायद क्या ही दुनिया चल रही है भाई दुनिया में क्रेजी अटैक्स हो रहे हैं हवा साफ नहीं है कुछ भी हो रहा है भाई एआई जो नौकरियां ले रही है और हम लोग चेस देख रहे हैं एंड इवन लाइक चेस इज वर्ल्ड इज सो कॉम चेस इज आल्सो सो कॉम्प्लिकेटेड भाई इट्स क्रेजी
I know
जो
why.
भी
It's actually crazy, like how it happened also. Yeah, like one day and it's done.
या
उसी टाइम पे I was thinking कि भाई I'm not sure how I'm gonna go back, but now it's become a reality. Yeah.
आप तो वेब चेकिंग करने वाले हो गए भाई
अब भाई मेरा
या
वेब चेक इन ऑन था, मेरा वेब चेक इन ऑटोमेटिक हो रहा था, एंड फर्स्ट आई गॉट माय बोर्डिंग कार्ड, देन उसके बाद 2 घंटे बाद मेरे को ईमेल आता है कि फ्लाइट कैंसिल हो गई भाई.
डैम एंड वेयर आर यू
So
स्टेइंग नाउ
yeah, I'm still in Johannesburg. I'm staying at a friend's house basically.
हम्म हम्म
जब मैं यहाँ पे पहले रहता था तो it's not a chess player.
हम्म
So yeah, that's where I am for at least for the foreseeable future. जब भी I'm trying to go back to Budapest as soon as I can, but it's difficult, yeah.
अग्रीड अग्रीड बिकॉज एक वो होता है ना साथ वेन ट्रैवल तो दो तीन हब्स ही होते हैं यूजुअली राइट टू ट्रैवल इंटरनेशनली इंडिया से फ्लाइट्स
हाँ,
के लिए एंड
दुबई
यूजुअली दे
सच
आर
अ
ऑल
बिग हब यार.
and सारे मिडिल ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज ही है राइट इट्स कतार इट्स दुबई इट्स अबू धाबी लाइक मेजॉरिटी ऑफ फ्लाइट्स विल गो वाया दीज प्लेसेस राइट सो इट्स ऑलवेज हार्ड
Exactly, exactly. So it makes yeah, it's just tough situation. Just like it is a tough situation for Gukesh right now because by King E6 looks so logical to me. मतलब white की best chart देखो भाई is to go bishop d2 and bishop takes e3, and I don't see that happening.
वाओ सो व्हाट वुड
हाँ, ये
ब्लैक प्ले हियर
बिशप्स
दो बिशप d2 के बाद
डायरेक्टली आप ऐसे फ्री का बिशप दे रहे हो, मतलब you're gonna have to
फ्री का नहीं है ना
defend
ये
two
मार
knights
दूंगा मैं
against the rook. But लेकिन okay, I'll defend that, right?
हाँ सो क्या खेलोगे वही कह रहा लाइक दिस इज द इंडियंस फर्स्ट
I don't
प्रेफरेंस
know,
लाइक
some I'll go like I don't know, rook 90, I don't know, 95 maybe.
95
कि नॉट ओके, बार बार को पसंद नहीं है, थोड़ा पहले जाओ.
बेसिकली वो ये
रुक
माना
को कहीं मूव करते हैं भाई, रुकी
हाँ
एट तो नहीं, रुक एफ एट जाते हैं भाई, रुक एफ एट.
हाँ रुक फेट नाउ बिशप
चलो ये बढ़िया
c3
चाल है, टेक्स
b
टेक्स.
c3 rook c3
This
now
already
knight
looks
f
very difficult to hold as black,
yeah
as white. Up basically you're a piece down.
yeah
Yes, it's a rook for a knight. I get that. Two knights. It's the most ideal sort of scenario. अगर आपके opponent के पास दो minor pieces रहते हैं तो I mean knights are usually the best if it's two knights. I get that, but still it's an extra piece.
भाई दो बिशप होते
That
तो गुकेश
is
would resign so it's literally but still it's very
हाँ,
very bad
exactly.
and
एक भी बिशप होता भाई तो this is GG.
by the way king she found king e6 Gukesh wait he's taking
Ooh,
on d4 that's a mistake
that's a mistake or that's a blunder.
a
Why he
mistake
has taken on d4.
it's a mistake and now after takes so knight f d4 you can't take on c3 right because knight e2 so पहले check देना पड़ेगा king d5 and now you take so that's the difference I
I
think black can just
first things
move up
first,
yeah
I have to say knight cd4 like not something you should avoid, yeah. Like
hmm.
that's also I think a pretty nice move, but somehow maybe that there is this ever-longing threat of g4 that you have to be
Hmm.
careful about. Maybe
Hmm.
not right now, but that's a good sign for Gukesh. Ki knight cd4 Jesse Chal is not the best. Was Arvind could go for that. Knight f5 पे
True.
बढ़िया बैठा हुआ है, knight d4 पे भी I mean it's looking pretty promising.
Agreed. And I think at least Ukesh is playing quickly now. So जो भी मैंने सोचा था, he's not holding back. And वो bishop d2 move वो नहीं निकाल पाया लेकिन that was a tough one. But it was a better version because I think you're getting like extra couple of moves. Now in this variation, if it takes check then a compulsory king d5 and rook c3, black is just I think one or two moves up in the same position. So
Exactly. Exactly.
ah,
That's a great point
tough,
actually. But the
tough.
problem is, okay, there are open files on the board and the rooks like open files, we know that, but I am not sure if you can get access to the seventh rank easily. The E7 is covered, D7 is covered, C7 is also covered by the knight. So it
Yeah,
could be a problem for Gukesh, but let's see. He's not looking the best, I would say. Bishop d4 के बाद Gukesh has officially at least said that okay, he knows he's defending this position now. Like
yeah.
you
I
officially
mean,
cannot say कि when the Gukesh is playing for a win anymore.
yeah, he's basically saying, "By I think I can hold this, and this is the best alternative I see. And now it's up to
Hmm.
you to show me
Like
how
वो
you win this."
simplify कर रहा है, right? Gukesh
Huh.
hardly simplifies. When he only simplifies when okay, and okay, it's an extra piece. So some problems for the world champion for sure. And 40 minutes है भाई. I mean, Arvind could end it right now. Like if he plays like enough complicated moves, to try and trick Gukesh, then this is a golden chance for Arvind to take down the world champion. Have to give it to
Agreed.
him.
And also, like, just a minor update chat. It seems like Van Forest is better against David Navara. Will not switch games just yet because it's a plus 0.5 advantage, but it's still there. So लग रहा है कि वो potentially 2750 पहुंचने वाले हैं. Hans Niemann is better against Vincent Keymer. So if Hans were to win or even draw, जो भी यहाँ हारेगा will be in sole last place. You do not want to be there in any event. Forget like an event where you're favorite. So Gukesh definitely, if he loses this, will be in last place. Why? That's a hard place to be because that's where Ding was, Sehaj and we used to like think, okay, Ding is not in form. He's having health issues. Gukesh doesn't even have that. So super important game for both players.
Yeah, I think it's just yeah, a couple of events going really, really badly, and he just hasn't found his rhythm. I'm telling you, by एक अच्छा game, and then you will see good. You'll see him back. Divya
Yep.
also has 15 minutes apparently. The chat is telling us that I think dono
Okay.
boards पे it's looking, at least time wise, it's a sign of worry. I have to say that. But I think Divya is more or less, Divya is a bit more safe. Actually, maybe
हाँ
that's not even true because Divya के बोर्ड पे भाई क्वींस है. वो भी तो मुश्किल है ना, मतलब यहाँ पे चारें निकालना मुश्किल रहेगा ना व्हाइट के लिए.
हाँ
तो
आई थिंक दिव्या का ये
एटलीस्ट
कि इट्स
गुकेश
मोर
के बोर्ड पे एंड गेम है.
हाँ बट आई स्टिल फील लाइक कि अगर B7 मिल गया ना मुझे मे बी माई ट्रबल्स आर ओवर सो आई एम काइंड ऑफ क्यूरियस हाउ ब्लैक डिफेंड्स दिस इन द नेक्स्ट कपल ऑफ मूव्स बट आई एग्री आई थिंक दिव्या में क्वींस है इट्स मोर कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सो इट कुड गो इवन हॉरिबली रॉन्ग गुकेश का तो क्लियर है भाई he has to just defend damn man things not looking great so Divya has to defend Surya I mean maybe has slight chances but
He was
what do you
pressing
make of
last
this
time we checked.
what do you make of
Yeah,
this
it's
he
an
was
end
better
game.
here but he
I
missed
mean,
it
हाँ प्रेस तो कर सकते हो आप यहाँ पे, बट लेट्स लुक एट इट. मूव 32, 16 मिनट्स लेफ्ट. दैट मीन्स 8 मिनट्स में 8 मूव्स में आपको मतलब अब 8 मूव्स में आपके पास 16 मिनट है, राइट? सो लाइक इट्स 2 मिनट्स per move. And
Hmm.
also he has this crazy tactic with knight takes b3 in this position. Why do you see that? Like it's working. Rook e4, knight c5, and rook e4 fe4 also. Why? What is this? जी जी,
Wow.
ये तो ड्रॉ ही हो गया ना सीधा. नाइट बी थ्री मार दिया तो ड्रॉ ही है ना तो.
Yeah.
Maybe rook
Yeah.
c2 खेल के you can press, but if you remove the b2 and b3 pawn, okay, maybe the advantage is not so much for Surya anymore. So maybe a draw, yeah.
Yeah. Draw very lucky. दोनों places time भी है. So might not be as difficult. So Surya draw. Divya slightly worse. She did not find bishop c1, played bishop e3 instead. So Divya slightly worse. And Gukesh also slightly worse. So, I mean, of course, Arvind doing well. But ये
Well,
तब भी
let's
विन
look
आ
at
रही
the
है हमारी
positive side.
जब
Yeah, Arvind is better.
हाँ बट ये तभी विन आ रही है जब दोनों इंडियंस का आपस में है लाइक अदरवाइज वो विन आ नहीं रही है सो दैट्स नॉट रियली आइडियल नो लाइक कोई जीतेगा दोनों में सो दिस लुक्स
Correct, bhai. Like Divya beating, of course, Surya, and
सूर्या
then
एग्जैक्टली
Arvind also having good chances against Gukesh now. But okay, Arvind did beat Hans. I mean, however it was still a very nice game. He did play, e4, d6, which I am very, very happy as a chess player. Like it's nice to see openings like that still being played out because it's, fighting chess. Even if you get into a worse position out of the opening, you still get a fighting game. And Yeah, it's very refreshing to see openings like that being played out.
True. एंड साज भाई बाय द वे आई थिंक वी नो कि भाई वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप नवंबर में होती है. लास्ट टाइम आई थिंक थर्ड वीक ऑफ नवंबर में थी, समथिंग लाइक दैट. वुड यू प्रेफर इट बीइंग इन इंडिया और वुड यू प्रेफर कि कहीं बाहर रखो? बिकॉज मुकेश तो खेलेगा ही.
भाई
अदर
फिर मैं
प्लेयर
मूवी कर जाता हूँ इंडिया में भाई.
नहीं.
क्या मैं बुडापेस्ट पे रह रहा हूँ भाई.
नहीं,
आई
अगर
शुड
अगर
जस्ट आई
पराग
शुड जस्ट
जीतेगा तो
लिव
फिर
देयर
तो
नाउ.
इंडिया में होना है ना भाई. फिर तो लाइक देयर इज नो डाउट लाइक इट विल हैपन इन इंडिया, मे बी इवन इन चेन्नई. फिर तो कोई लिटरली पैदल वो 10,000 स्टेप्स करते करते वो वेन्यू पे जाएंगे. तो where would you prefer like it happens, like matlab in general, like let's say कि you had the option of going anywhere, but in general from the player's perspective.
भाई यार हमारे लिए तो सेम है ना. हम लोग तो ऑनलाइन कर रहे हैं, तो it's about the players, what the players are comfortable with. For us it's
Well,
like
we
it
might do
it
it
hardly makes a
on
difference.
site
I mean
also ना,
just
अगर
don't do
इंडिया
it
में
in
हुआ तो.
US or Canada because then वो रात के 2-2 3-3 बजे तक बैठना
That's a good
पड़ेगा.
point.
You
That's a
remember
good
those
point
days.
actually.
So like not in US or Canada but like in Europe or in Asia anywhere. I think it's good.
But you might do on site ना, मान लो अगर हो गया just like the World Cup or the last World Championship, तो फिर से उसकी तरह कर सकते हैं. So but of course it has to be in
Yeah,
India
it's a
or
good point.
so वो चीज़ है. अगर इंडिया में होगा तो it could be crazy. But I think in India में World Cup में people didn't perform well. In fact, Uzbeks did very well. So that's why I was like कि maybe India is not the best to have this. In
Because
fact,
Sendarup हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ करता है crazy.
हाँ, that's my worry. तो देखते हैं क्या होता है. It'll be interesting that उसकी location dates अभी कुछ out नहीं है. Will be defined after the candidates. Um,
Correct. Arvind right now thinking 34 minutes he has. I think he's been thinking for about 11 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And he's choosing, yeah, which knight to recapture with. And that's generally a very good sign. कि
hmm.
you are not thinking कि भाई position इतनी better है कि मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ. You're not playing hand moves. That's a great sign from Arvind. Because generally, I think most chess players would just take it and then okay, जो होगा देखा जाएगा type of mentality, which can definitely cost you that extra half a point that you might get against a player like Gukesh. So he's doing the
Yeah,
right thing, I think, by thinking here. Let's see if he makes
yeah.
the right call. Actually, उतना बड़ा difference नहीं है anymore, yeah. Knight f d4 and knight c d4 में I'm only maybe my machine is not the strongest, but I'm seeing only a difference of like zero point 0.1. Like knight f d4 is 0.4 and knight c3 is 0.3 basically.
Yeah, I think ऐसी कुछ 0.2 का difference है, very similar. I think also जो G4 plan है, it also involves risks from white, even though it might be objectively slightly worse from black's perspective. It might give more practical chances. Who knows? So
Yeah.
I think both options good, and things are moving in Arvind's favor, and there is no other move apart from knight d4. So जो भी मारेंगे, he will have the chance to push for a long time. And critical moment है, he's thinking, so that's also a great sign. Chat नहीं पढ़ रहे भाई, पढ़ रहे हैं, बिल्कुल पढ़ रहे हैं, trust me. We are reading the chat. And या भाई चैट नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो भाई चैट के बिना मजा क्या है भाई. प्लेयर्स कई बार अच्छा नहीं खेलते, लेकिन चैट से हम एंटरटेन रहते हैं.
Yeah, भाई चाट तो हमेशा पड़ता है भाई. Hedge, भाई, what do you think? What is impacting Gukesh's games? Because if you carefully look at his games, he's not playing bad but not getting good results. And I think we have touched on this. Like I don't think you can define what's going wrong with Gukesh in like layman's terms. I think it's highly technical because I mean he's an extremely strong player, and when something like this goes wrong, it's usually something very technical. I don't think this is going to last very long. As I said, कि एक वो mentality की भी बात होती है. Once you get one good result, then you suddenly start, just playing really well. Um, it could just be an issue of that. So I wouldn't really make much of it. Of course, he's still the world champion. He still has a very big year ahead of him. Considering the Olympiad, Norway chess, and all of that. So let's not, label it as okay, ठीक है भाई ये बहुत बहुत खराब है. It I have a feeling it's gonna turn around.
या Krish is sometimes playing at NM level. यार,
नहीं नहीं भाई ऐसे तो मत बोलो यार.
I'm sorry but I don't blunder my rook. नहीं मजाक कर रहा हूँ मैं.
भाई टिक्कू टिक्कू प्लेज एट वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप लेवल. भाई उसका गेम देखो तुम. उसके साथ क्या क्या नाम था
हाँ,
उसका भाई? कौन
exactly.
सा फन फॉरेस्ट का वाला भाई था वो?
हाँ, इसके भाई को मैंने हराया भाई,
लूकस.
that's true.
लूकस
लूकस
लूकस को हराया हुआ है भाई टिक्कू भाई ने. कभी उन्होंने फ्लेक्स नहीं
बेचारा.
किया होगा आपको चैट. बट आई
we
एम
we
टेलिंग यू
met
गो सर्च दैट गेम. टिक्कू वर्ल्ड चैंपियन लेवल खेल रहा था वहां पे, देखो आपको गेम.
we met Lucas actually at the World Cup and उसको गेम याद नहीं थी. I was like, yeah brother. याद तो है तुम्हें.
तो उसको बोलते हैं आप, दुनिया को याद रहेगा, तेरे को नहीं है
याद
तो.
याद तो है तुम्हें. हारी हुई गेम तो याद रहती है. बट
हमेशा याद रहती है भाई. या
बट
भाई,
ओके.
टिक्कू हैज डिफीटेड लूकस वन फॉरेस्ट. यस, दैट इज ट्रू.
म्यूकस नहीं भाई, ल्यूकस. शिट. म्यूकस तो मेरी
अरे
नाक में
भाई,
है. बट
कुछ भी
एनीवे.
लिखते हो भाई तुम चैट में यार.
डैम यार, चैट क्रेजी है. यू
Yes,
हैव
bhai, you
दिस.
have this feeling for a year now, but Cookie is beating your feeling every time. Yes, bhai, patience is a virtue. Bhai, it's very much possible that, like maybe the year doesn't go well for him, but then suddenly in World Championship you will see the real Gukesh matlab, come out again. Like I have this feeling that that's what's gonna happen. He's still gonna retain his title, like no matter what.
भाई
But
वी आर
let's see,
लकी.
why. First,
ओलंपियाड है.
let's not think about like World Championship and like all of that other stuff. Let's try to focus at smaller steps. Try to save this position. Try to feel a bit better about your defensive, skills. I mean, and in general, if you lose one less game, generally you feel a bit better. So let's focus on smaller goals right now.
भाई ओलंपियाड 2 महीने पहले है. ओलंपियाड में गुकेश यूजुअली कम्स इन फॉर्म ऑटोमेटिकली, सो वी आर लकी देयर कि सेम ही टाइम पे होते हैं रफली. सो लेट्स जस्ट बी हैप्पी अबाउट दैट. तो ओलंपियाड गुकेश
भाई
ठीक
अभी
खेलेगा.
अगर ओलंपियाड में होगा तो गुकेश और अर्जुन में डिफरेंस है. आई एम नॉट श्योर इफ गुकेश इज बोर्ड वन देयर देन. रग्बी हो
But
सकता
they'll
है.
keep him board one, I
यू
think,
नेवर नो.
still because of how he played last time, I think. Because
या ट्रू.
Arjun, I think last time we board number 2 पे आ रहा था, he was rating wise, but they kept him on 3 again. This is the logic ki, and he won the board medal as well, like board prize. So I think he might be okay as long as like they're all playing well, they should be happy.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Correct. It's taking a long time here, yeah, to decide which knight to recapture with, but makes a lot of sense. I think if he's thinking this long, I have a feeling he's going to go knight of d4. Tikuba, if you had to choose, which knight are you choosing for Arvind?
F,
Like,
I
what do you
think.
think he will play? Not what you would play.
F. F, I think, because I think G4 का थोड़ा मुझे डर लग रहा है. Just at first glance, I'm like, ये G4 आ गया तो थोड़ा destabilize हो सकते हैं knights. And B4, B5 comes in 2 moves, so I can plan for it better. G4 comes in 1. So by that logic, bullet chess में probably would take with the F knight. Um, but I think luckily for Win, both options are great, so wouldn't worry too much.
By bullet, I'm taking with the C knight, yeah.
Oh wow,
Easy.
interesting.
No,
Like
no
why the
thoughts
C knight
even.
though? I'm curious. I'm curious.
पता नहीं, मतलब लाइक मतलब हमेशा एक वो रहता है कि पीसेस आगे बढ़ने चाहिए.
हाँ.
So it's like knight cd4 is like you're going into the center. So it's like optically, if I'm playing with this with the black pieces, knight cd4 would be like, ठीक है, pieces आगे जा रहे हैं, king की तरफ जा रहे हैं, तो अच्छा है. I
Hmm.
don't know, maybe it's too basic, but that's that's my instinct here.
No, no, makes sense, I think. Because knight f5 is already very active, close to, white's king, तो दूसरा knight भी लाते हैं. So that makes a lot of sense. Um, and I think that's why when he's taking so much time, he's going very deep into variations. Because इतना उसको पता है कि भाई ये तो होना ही है, चाहे C से IF से इतना होना ही है. Check king d5 and rook c3. Now he has to go deep, like 10, 15 moves from here and see how is he winning this. And
I
उस
also Gukesh
formation
has
में.
to calculate all of those things as well. Yeah, 7 minutes may like one thing, like if let's just consider something for a moment. Yeah, I mean, let's say Gukesh is also taking this time and he's also analyzing knight f4 and all of the lines forward. Like there is a certain surprise element for Arvind that could work really well. Like you choose a move that is not the most obvious, but it makes your opponent think.
Oh, he takes.
Because अगर आपने गुकेश को 2 मिनट, wow, some fast moves happening. Yeah, on the board he takes and gives a check on e1 first. क्योंकि knight e2 check का threat था, king d5 rook c3, and now I think very very difficult to save this for Gukesh.
Agreed. And I think was surprise element, the one you talked about, makes a lot of sense. And especially with the time, still 13 more moves in an A5. You see, like he's already has the move ready. So he knew कि Mukesh की अगली 2-3 चालें क्या होनी है. But now he's playing quickly because he's understood the structure he wants to go for. But so has Gukesh. So pawn to h4. And Chad, I think rooks के लिए the best thing could be open files and passed pawns. Right now he has the open file, so that's great. But there is no entry point for the
भाई
rook or
30
the e1.
सेकंड है तो सही इधर.
तो इसे क्या मतलब?
30 30 सेकंड का वो है ना, इंक्रीमेंट है तो
हाँ
सही था।
इंक्रीमेंट है भाई, इंक्रीमेंट है।
हाँ, आई वॉज थिंकिंग इंक्रीमेंट नहीं है एक्चुअली।
फिर
I mean,
इंक्रीमेंट है।
maybe I misheard you last time, but okay, with
हाँ
increment, I think it's not as bad. Yeah, you can still save this.
yeah, I think there's definite
But
chances. I think Arvind, if he keeps pushing, there could be chances to, and of course, like black's pieces are activated. I mean, rook game mein aaya nahi hai. Rook is the only piece. So rook f8, for example, makes a lot of sense. Then you
Mhm.
can start pushing maybe b4, b5, b5, b4, sorry. Then maybe you decide about the king side as well. And white cap, whenever you start pushing these pawns, that will create some holes. You can't play the g pawn, for example. They could create a hole on f3. अगर ये खेलोगे तो could create a hole on g3. So it just um, gives more targets for black, which right now maybe do not exist. So interesting yeah, काफी position, and this is the kind of position where you expect the stronger player to grind out a win against a slightly weaker player. Yeah, like Magnus is black
Yeah,
here wins like against anybody in the world.
yeah, true. I mean, at least it will be like a Herculean task to save that. That is for sure.
Hmm. दिव्या गेम बद स्टार्ट करिए सहज भाई। दिव्या का
Okay.
डर लग रहा है अब, दिव्या का भी भाई मुश्किल है। 22 मूव 5 मिनट, टफ 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 टफ। सहज भाई आई
Yeah, that
थिंक
looks tough, bhai. I'm not even like 5 minutes is too little. क्या भाई, आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
भाई प्राग मास्टर चलो ठीक है। आई थिंक दिस टूर्नामेंट एनीवे आई थिंक मे बी दिव्या के लिए अच्छा सकता है, बाकी सब लोग अच्छा गया नहीं, दैट्स फॉर श्योर नाउ। व्हाट डू यू सी द चेंज लाइक, मतलब 24 में हम लोग मतलब बोल रहे हैं ना, मतलब मार रहे थे, मतलब ऐसे माही मार रहा है वाला डायलॉग है ना, वैसे हम लोग वी आर क्रशिंग इट, लाइक एवरीथिंग वी वर विनिंग। Then 2025 में first half Prag was killing it, like he was playing some amazing chess. Second half में I think we struggled a lot. I think Grand Swiss say only Arjun got that medal during World Rapid and Blitz. And now 2026 Tata Steel, to again standings we couldn't see a single Indian in the first half or the second half of the event. And same here by the way, same discussion मैं समय और राकेश करते रहते हैं कि भाई कोई first half में दिख जाए but दिख नहीं रहा है। So how do you
Hmm.
think that shift happened? Because I would assume कि Indian players have more resources now than they did earlier. Do you think this is like lack of effort? Do you think this is just a wave, right? मतलब पहले form में थे अब form में नहीं है, or do you think like this is just luck? Like, what is your interpretation of why all the Indian players suddenly are out of form at the same time?
I wouldn't really say all of them because I think it hasn't. I maybe it's that 2024 की वजह से हमारी expectations इतनी ज़्यादा high हो गई हैं कि we are just expecting every Indian to win every single tournament, and that's not fair on the player because I mean, Azalwa, I mean, you've played professional chess. I have played professional chess. We know exactly कि chess में ऐसा होता नहीं है. Like no one player outrightly. I mean, Magnus is maybe the only exception, yeah, but no player outrightly like wins everything. No nation automatically like dominates every single event. ऐसा कभी होता नहीं है. So I'm just I think they were in form, but maybe they are not as much in form anymore. And also, it's like Joe, I think the players are also carrying the weight of people's expectations and also the weight of their losses from the previous event. So I think it's a mix of those things. But I think this is why I feel that one good game can change this.
Hmm.
One good game can change your entire mentality. कि ठीक है, I'm feeling like myself, and suddenly you start scoring a couple of points. So I feel that's very very important.
Interesting. So that would align with, let's say, a wave kind of structure. Yeah. So maybe one win for the players could change the tide around. But I think there's one thing though. I think tactical awareness is something we have noticed for Gukesh in this event. I think it started from that loss against Nodirbek. Like he's been tactically
Yeah.
very
क्योंकि
off.
आप अपने आप को डाउट करने लग जाते हो बिकॉज
Yeah.
बिकॉज बिकॉज लाइक मिसिंग दैट like making a one move blunder and missing that are two very different things. Yeah, because आप ये अंडरस्टैंड करोगे, वो पहली चीज तो वो चेक थी, पहले तो पॉन चेक से मर रहा है फिर रुक चेक से मर रहा है, तो दैट इट्स लाइक it's a very it's a I think a big oversight, a big black spot that sometimes I think a lot of chess players face, but it makes you question yourself. Yeah, कि ठीक है, I mean, and then next time you play a game, each time you're looking at those checks कि भाई कुछ check miss तो नहीं हो रही, कोई threat miss तो नहीं हो रहा, and that disrupts your flow and how you normally play. Do you think that Gukesh was thinking about these things when he was playing against Ding? Of course not, because he didn't have to. He trusted himself, and this is perhaps why he's getting low on time, because he's double checking, triple checking things that he has already checked before. And I think that makes sense, yeah.
Hmm. True. Very interesting chat. I think chess is very complex, and kya Indian players, are gonna get some wins under their belt. I think Gukesh has played a bunch of events. Maybe tiredness could be one of the
यार
reasons as
कुछ
well.
moves भी
Like,
हो गए हैं उधर.
okay, let's
थोड़ा
check
आगे जा.
out.
Arvind, I think he's made a slight error and he's played a5, or a4 or something, which wasn't the best. And
Oh,
Gukesh responded with rook d1, and somehow he is fine now.
but that's weird. No, why would you trade pawns? Maybe he wanted the A file. I think he wanted rook a8 potentially, but I mean, already like rook c6 ideas. Yeah, possible.
Yeah. This is Tablash. I mean, rook c6 मरने के बाद तो गुकेश ही खेलेगा यहाँ पे, but yeah, I think advantage more or less has gone for Arvind, but still he maintains that clock, advantage, I
Wow,
would
so
say.
slight miss from Arvind, I think,
Slight,
because
slight, slight, yeah.
yeah,
ड्रॉ ही होगा भाई, आप
because
सही कह रहे थे.
बिकॉज जितने जितने पीछे पॉन्स है ना चैट ऑन द बोर्ड उतना ब्लैक के चांसेस बढ़ते हैं बिकॉज फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दीज पॉन्स एक्ट एज बैरियर्स फॉर द रुक सो देर इज नो ओपन ए फाइल सेकेंड आई थिंक यू हैव मोर पॉन्स मतलब मोर चांसेस टू पोटेंशियली क्वीन सो any side who's better gets a chance to push further with more pawns and a4 I think was an attempt to open the a file and offer some bait कि आप ये मार दो डबल पॉन कर दो and then rook a8 and rook a4 but now he takes on b3 and after simple rook takes b3 it feels more like a draw than it was earlier.
Yeah, no, agreed. Like, by the way, he just played rook b8, only move now. Well, not really an only move. a4 भी चलेगा, इधर rook c3 भी चलेगा. भाई वो same rook c3 खेल के rook c6 का plan. And Gukesh
Yeah.
is pretty much out of the woods, I would say. But yeah, speaking of bhai, Tiku bhai, I think I will also take your leave.
अरे
Actually,
थैंक यू भाई.
I'm actually staying at, as I said, at a friend's house, so it's hard for me to kind of,
हाँ
stay
हाँ.
for a long time.
अरे
But
चैट एक
thanks
बार
for.
सहज भाई ओपन इन द चैट हो जाए फॉर कमिंग अप ही wasn't supposed to but he did because both of us were tired now I'm also feeling a bit better so एक बार सहज भाई open the chat with hearts and सहज भाई we'll see you
अरे
soon
भाई.
in the candidates and hopefully there is a candidates पहले pray करते हैं उसके लिए but सहज भाई will be very back and thank you सहज भाई for joining मजा आएगा भाई कमेंट्री करके.
Absolutely. Love you, chat, and see you soon. And take care, Tiku bhai. Take care, Rakesh bhai. See you, Samay bhai. Bye,
बाय
chat.
बाय राकेश भाई बाय 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 साज भाई थैंक्स अ लॉट फॉर जॉइनिंग भाई साज भाई ने स्ट्रीम होल्ड कर ली भाई आज विदाउट हिम आई थिंक दिस स्ट्रीम वुड हैव बीन अ नाइटमेयर with both Rakesh bhai and me not being in great shape. So thoda sa I feel better now. So this should be possible to finish today. It should be possible to finish today's stream. And Saj bhai की भाई आते एनर्जी आ गई भाई Saj भाई amazing analysis. भाई मैं और राकेश भाई तो ऐसे टाइम पास करते रहते थे भाई एनालिसिस देख के थोड़ा मजा आया फाइनली. And what do you think about Mukesh's chances if anyone other than Fabio Hikaru wins the candidates? I think in this form, anybody, and I would be very honest, I think anybody apart from Fabi who wins the candidates cannot be a clear favorite against Gukesh because they'll be playing the world championship for the first time. जब मैग्नस ने खेला था वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम ही वाज नर्वस एज हेल लाइक हिज डैड सेड दिस इन अ टेक 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 इंटरव्यू कि भाई I could see Magnus dropping pieces while playing them on move number 2 like he was very nervous. So if Magnus being the world number 1 the goat maybe not then but pretty soon was struggling with his nerves, I can only imagine somebody like Sindarov, who was not even at the elite level 6 months back, how much pressure he would feel. So I'm going to say Fabi, if he wins, I think is the slight favorite for sure. Uh, Looking at current form, but also Gukesh has a great record against Fabi, so it's very debatable. But anybody else cannot be a clear favorite. चाहे Gukesh कितनी ही form में हो, he is somebody who's played the world championship, handled the pressure, and has won. That's not easy for anyone. Even Hikaru will be playing it for the first time. So मेरे हिसाब से Gukesh cannot be like a against anybody. I think he will have a good chance. So that's the point. But yeah, meanwhile Divya के लिए लोग कह रहे हैं कुछ crazy हो रहा है. Let me just check it quickly. I think he saw this. No major updates, chat. Queen b2 देखा था, bishop c1 खेला, bishop e3, 95, bishop 93. चैट हम बात कर ही रहे थे कि b7 pawn अगर मिल जाए, so white has chances and black can do something very brutal here. Either take and then bishop c8 or directly bishop c8. Just use this bishop with the one purpose to defend your weakness. अपनी वीकनेस बच गई, एंड नाउ जस्ट गो गंग हो ऑन दीज पॉन्स. ऑल थ्री पॉन्स लुकिंग वीक, चाहे मुझे बिशप f8 खेलना पड़े यहाँ पे अटैक करने के लिए, चाहे डायरेक्टली मर जाए, वट एवर इट इज. एंड इट लुक्स लाइक दिव्या इज अंडर ह्यूज प्रेशर. 4 मिनट है एंड अभी 22 चालें खेलनी है, 21 सॉरी, या एक चाल हो गई, सो 21 चालें खेलनी है. आई थिंक दिव्या इज unlikely to save this unless our opponent simplifies the position. So simplify karna hai, that will give some chances. Meanwhile, going to Gukesh's game again, Aravindh spoiling his edge, but abhi bhi chances hai, because for example equality ke liye a4 is the only move, so which is tough. And because a4 के बाद king c4 आ रहा है, and it feels like black is making progress, right? Because rook is attacked, जब हिलोगे तो I can go for rook 8, win this pawn, push the pass pawn, and it's a general principle not to push pawns on the side where you're weaker. And यहाँ पे of course black is doing well on the queen side, right? Because सारे, look at the queen side, right? All of black's pieces are on the queen side, so it feels like a place where he's dominating. So a4 might not be obvious for Gukesh, and black about to push his pass pawn. अगर ये दोनों पॉइंट ट्रेड हो गए, आई थिंक या ड्रॉ के चांसेस बढ़ जाएंगे, बट या इट्स वेरी ट्रिकी. इमेजिन मैग्नस गुकेश का सेकंड हो अभी. नहीं भाई, आई थिंक मैग्नस इज, उसको वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप की तैयारी करनी होती तो खुद के लिए कर लेता ना यार. he did not hate playing the world championship, he hated the preparation part of it, जहां पे 2 महीने लगे रहना. बाय द वे, लुक एट दिस h5, not the best move but a decent one. Now I think b5 is simple, preventing a4 and starting to push your main asset. Goal would be b5, b4, and slowly rook a8, rook takes a2. Second, I was wondering if g5 खेल सकते हैं क्या, trying to maintain as many pawns as possible, but that's a big mistake because rook b5 check है. Knight is pinned. So if you can't play g5, then automatically I think b5 makes a lot of sense because आपने b5 को control कर दिया, no longer any checks, and अगर white नहीं मारेगा, next move I can go g5. So Gukesh is saying, I just want to trade pawns. यहां पे एक पॉन ट्रेड किया अभी उन्होंने, अब यहां पे एक ट्रेड करेंगे, वो ड्रॉ की तरफ बढ़ते जा रहे हैं. Saldicum promising Gukesh will defend his title. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm not worried यार actually. I think not yet at least. Because Olympiad है बीच में. Last candidates had +5 in last game Nepo, but still. Yeah, exactly my point. कि Fabi, you know how many times Fabi split the candidates? 6 times. Fabi जैसा प्लेयर 6 बार खेला है, and I think he only won it once. That's how tough the candidates is. I'm feeling slightly better, but अकेले बात करने हैं फिर से I can feel that issue build up, but ठीक है, I think हो जाएगा, आज का दिन निकल जाएगा. And Gukesh drinking some water. He looks more confident than he was earlier, but it's not where he wanted to be, right? Because he's defending with the white pieces. So the rest day probably didn't help as much as Gukesh would have loved. Nepo, I think, lost a bunch of rating and now he's not getting as many invites. Last tournament that I remember was the World Cup, but वहाँ पे bedbugs issue हो गए थे उनको. So Nepo facing serious issues and क्या कर सकते हैं? Thanks, Renu, of course. Meanwhile, chat, let's do a roundup. ठीक है, पहले तीनों Indian players का. First of all, we start with Surya. I think this game is going to be a draw. Second rank control, great move by White. So ये draw की तरफ बढ़ रहा है. Exchanges होंगे बहुत सारे. And White did find that knight b3 move. which we were discussing. So this is going to be a draw. Next, we come to Divya. Why, Divya found a great move. Look at this. Knight e3, rook a3 was a mistake, and Divya instantly takes on d5. And this is an extremely hard choice because आप अपने bishop को दे रहे हो जो king side को defend कर रहा है. But she's calculated कि भाई after bishop d5, let's say, queen b7, I'm kind of offering a queen trade. Queen trade होगी तो it's a draw. So black will have to find a way to avoid the queen trade. But if you avoid the queen trade, there's queen e7. Then who's really better? For example, where do you put the queen? I don't see a good square. Queen a4 maybe, but again, you see queen e7, black is better. So Divya with an amazing find here, I think. Better chances to hold. You can look at her opponent. He's already stressed. I think he underestimated bishop d5. So Divya fighting for a draw. Good news. But okay, this game is the crucial one. No idea what happens here. No Brana for Divya, none for Surya either. By the way, Divya killed the Arvind ne. And after h5, we discussed g5, rook b5 was there. So b5 played. Great move by Arvind. Takes, exchanges, favors Gukesh. But now rook g3 maybe. And you can basically harass the pawn. Yeah, played on the board. And important, there is no 92 because the knight is pinned. That's very important. How to win Wookie's last game? There is no way, bhai. I think what will help us move on, I don't know if anybody has had a breakup ever, but sometimes it just takes time. And ये वैसा ही है. So you were completely winning, things were looking like a dream, and then suddenly it all fell apart for Mukesh. So I think he just has to have faith. And whenever he has that next good result, I think it will all become a distant blur. Wait, what? Bhai, look at this. So black could have played rook g8. Save the pawn. But he was not happy with check and check, I think. And suddenly this is getting a bit tricky because check again. I mean, there is king a5, but he was not convinced by this and he just sacks the pawn. Now, my worry is not key whether this is winning or drawn, because I think it might be somewhere in the middle. But has Gukesh considered this is the question. Did he think rook g8 was forced? Because you can see his body language, suddenly he looks a bit more serious. That's my worry. अगर उसने ये देखा नहीं ना, it might be a shock. Man. And yeah, let's not forget about the time. Yeah, he has 3 minutes to play 7 moves. Not as difficult as it was earlier, but still extremely tough, I think. Because one mistake and you could be lost. And Chad, by the way, he has to take the pawn now. Rook g6, you take, and black, I think, just continues like b4, tries to create the passed pawn. Very tricky. But okay, it's tricky for Arvind also, yeah? Imagine after rook g6, if something goes wrong, white has two connected passed pawns now. So Arvind going for the win essentially. He's saying, I want to win this. I don't want to draw. Big decision from Aravindh Chithambaram to try and defeat the world champion here. He could have taken the safe choice, but no, he doesn't go for it. What a day it is, chat. Gukesh under pressure again. This tournament has not gone well for him. Greedy Guki. I mean, I would say greedy Arvind as well. Both players are a bit greedy. I feel like he's going for the personal. It's possible. I think that's a good way to put it, Saket. By it always happens. Um, Something personal can affect your play. Like my health is not. I'm not feeling well today, so that means कि my commentary will suffer. If I didn't tell you that, you might think क्या भाई ये बंदे commentary करने का मन नहीं है, whatever. So it happens for sure. But at first glance, because it doesn't feel like he's sick. Like usually you will see some physical elements, so maybe it's more psychological. You correctly place the candidates. Last, I would rank him because he's not played for a while. Even if he was in action, I would still rate him behind Fabi, Hikaru, Prague, um, at least these three, and he's not played for a while. So I mean, 1500 को हराना तो मैं भी हरा दूं. So I think I will rate him last. That too by a big margin, like not even close. Like I think he'll be the guy who everybody beats. I think is my take. But of course, depends on how much practice he's been doing. Why he has less than a minute now. I told you. My worry was not whether this move is good or bad. My worry was whether Ukesh has seen it. And it feels like he hasn't. Why is the guy behind throwing hand signs? I don't think they are hand signs. He looks a bit like. By the way, Rook C1 check, not the best, but not bad either. King B4. Ab kya? One more check maybe? Very interesting. The king can't approach right now the pawn. If this rook was not here, I think that's why he's giving these checks pehle. Because if you take, then any checks the king can walk to a3 and a2. So right now, if you give this check, the king can't walk up. So it has to go back. I mean, that's why rook b1 check now. By the way, only two moves. Rook b1 check and rook e1. Apparently, rook g6, there's knight e2 now. Keep in mind, because the knight is no longer pinned. So Gukesh has to be careful. Did you have to be diplomatic? Anyway, I think there's no chance. Diplomatic. By the way, 18 seconds. Come on. Gukesh, come on. 15 seconds. No time to think now. He has to give this check. The other move is rook e1, which is so difficult to find here. So rook b1 check played. Yes, human move. Now king, maybe a4. Yes, play. Arvind plays quickly. He's putting on the pressure on Gukesh. The guy glasses in the background is looking cool. I am not sure about that. Why? Cool, maybe not a, maybe it's my thing, but maybe I'm too old for this. But these glasses look a bit weird to me. um, by the way, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Chal bhai. Ooh, finds the best move again. Prevents knight e2, defends the pawn on a2, frees up this rook to take the pawn. Please don't say Gukesh world champion. अरे क्या बात कर रहे हो भाई? He is the world champion. I don't think is the case. Very young, he's a prodigy. Yeah, Pada Saket, but the thing is, in other things I agree. In other sports I agree. But nowadays, chess has become very young. Like, for example, there's a 14-year-old who's 2700 almost. So I would say ki that can be a reason, but it cannot be a long-term reason because I think in chess terms, Mukesh is not like super duper young. He's young, but he's not like super duper young. There are other people who are doing what he's done even at a younger age. So, not the world championship, but in terms of rating, I'm talking. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to turn 20 this year, I'm guessing. So, no, he's not the weakest world champion by no chance. I think he's very strong. He's won a bunch of events. And the year is still pending by. This is the year if he could still do very well. By the way, Chad, like in general, all three Indian players have stuck, within the same 10 rating points. Who's your favorite? Gukesh, Prague, Arjun, like if you had to choose one, which one would you choose? Divya game is still going on chat and it feels like it's equal. Let's have an update. Bishop d5 takes, c5. Nice move. Rook e7. If you take here, for example, with the pawn, you can see कि आपका rook जो है वो hanging है. So rook takes e7, takes. I would say close to a draw. Divya has to find like a couple of moves. Bishop f4 looks very logical. You can also play knight b4 apparently. That's a very interesting idea. And if you take here on e3, then rook takes e3 and this bishop is still hanging. Okay, not needed. Even bishop f4 is a draw. So some chances Divya to hold this, although she has 30 seconds. She looked at the clock just now. Come on, Divya. Bishop f4. I think bishop c1 also possible. I think she's 18 seconds now. Challenging Prague, yeah? Majority of people supporting Prague. Oh, she plays. Wait, what did she play? Oh, she finds knight b4. Wow, what a find. That too with the 14 seconds of clock. Great move by Divya. So good chances to hold this. Meanwhile, going to Gukesh. Now, Aravindh having his think. I think this is a good moment to think for him because it's like 4 more moves for Gukesh, the time control. So if let's say Gukesh plays 4 more moves without losing, good chances he holds this. तो I think यहाँ पे थोड़ा कोई trap अगर है, कोई strategic idea है which he can test Gukesh on, this might be the right moment. Soul, Arvind sir is practicing for EWC. For sure, I think EWC is one of the events he would love to play at. But I think it's going to be difficult. Yeah, EWC last time was such a huge success. Ki this time you can expect like everybody in the world to fight for it. I think GCT का भी कुछ drama चल रहा था कि they wanted the tournaments to not be together. Very holdable for Gukesh. He has to put his blitz hat on. Yeah, and not too for long. Yeah, just 4 moves. I've heard on March 10th, Gukesh is only in top 10. No, Gukesh is not in top 10 actually. It's only Arjun. He's 10th. And Gukesh, I think, is 12th. I'll just check that. Oh, sorry, he's 16th. My bad. I think in published rating, maybe he's 12th. Yeah, you're right, 11th, something like that. Actually, no, you're right. Published ratings, he's number 10th. Yes, he's number 10, but live ratings, he's number 16th. Okay. Yeah, published rating, he's top 10. You're right. But I think we've already moved on from those, right? Because okay, Divya's opponent is still thinking, so let's go back maybe. Do you ever ask who is the world champion F1 or tennis? I don't know, man. Very hard to know because usually क्या होता है कि F1 में at least the world champion is the guy who plays very well in the entire year. So it's usually quite cumulative. Chess में क्या है, you could basically suck at 10 events in the year, majority of the events, just crush 3 events. Let's say आपने odd year में World Cup जीत लिया या Grand से अच्छा खेल लिया, then you crush the candidates and the World Championship, nothing else matters. So that's the difference with F1 there. F1 में क्या है कि you have to play the entire year well. जैसे देखा हमने, like Norris was winning, then Verstappen had a comeback and almost took it away. So that's the difference with F1 at least. 20 list. Yeah, होगा for sure. I will not win on purpose. कुछ भी भाई, मतलब क्या अलग ही लेवल पे हो यार तुम. F1 देख के उल्टी का. नहीं नहीं भाई, ऐसा नहीं है. उल्टी तो तबीयत की वजह से है भाई, not because of F1. Although I have to admit, like Drive to Survive has gotten worse and worse. F1 is barely a team game यार, आपस में लड़ते रहते हैं ये लोग. Mukesh is world number 10 in the published ratings and world number 16, 17 in the live. So you're both correct. Tanya will be there for candidates, by the way. So Tanya will be commentating with us for the candidates, at least for a few days. So it's going to be a lot of fun to have her back. And there's barely any commentator we can think of across the world who's as good as her. So it'll be fun to have her. The only worry for me is I hope Indians are in the candidates, chances to win till the very end. That's more of a worry. Otherwise, commentary wise to be sorted, Tanya will be there. Of course, it'll be me, Sahaj, Rakesh. So चार लोग हो गए, and we'll try to keep it dynamic. We'll keep rotating, ताकि it's as energetic as it can be. आज की तरह नहीं होगा भाई, for sure. आज तो भाई तबीयत की लगी हुई सबकी. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So while broadcasting, and we'll have the cameras, we'll have Prague playing, Humpy, Divya, Vaishali. And imagine if Vaishali and Prague win. That's insane. A brother and sister playing the world championship in the same year. Like, that's crazy, you know? So that would be like literally something that has never happened before in the history of chess or even any sport at all. So, and Vaishali, I think, has that in her. Like, she can sometimes just run away with classical events, right? Like she did in Grand Swiss and so on. So she could pull it off. What is Tanya doing nowadays? Not sure. Saw some stories there. I think she had the Red Bull event and so on, but don't know. If Mukesh loses today, what will be his ranking? Bro, don't ask me these depressing questions. I'm already depressed enough. Have you thought about World Championship in Goa? By after what happened at the World Cup in Goa, how can you think about the World Championship in Goa? No, man. World Championship, I think the only way it happens in India will be if Prague wins, is my guess. Because Vishy had the World Championship in India and he felt, I mean, I'm guessing he felt pressure. And also Indians have traditionally not done well in India. Yeah, right? मतलब World Cup में अच्छा नहीं गया. Chennai GM कह रहा हूँ. Chennai Olympiad also, like, we did get a medal, but we botched it up a bit at the end. So yeah. How many moves? I think 4 for Gukesh. Aravindh ke liye 5. Aravindh is, I think, pretty sorted time wise. So no stretch for him. Prague carried, yeah, but that to the first half. I think first half he was just playing like a dream. So second half was the issue. Like I mean, he had to really fight for the candidate spot as well, right? Literally, London khela tha last match. You remember, like he played the London Classic or whatever open section just to have some extra points. Meanwhile, no moves just yet. Full pressure on Arvind. By the way, 95, great move. Defending the pawn. This knight could also come to c4, attack the rook. So pressure on Gukesh now. Nai, Divya has not blundered. All looks great. We'll come to that game soon. Okay. Oh, wait, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. And now knight c4 only move and Arvind is better. Bhai, this is tricky. So let's have a look. Knight c4, rook is attacked. If you, let's say, go back here, chat question, rook b1 with black to play. What is the best move? If I want to go rook b1, what is the problem? There should be more events in India for the qualification and EWC. Who knows, by God knows kya rahega, but EWC is going to be one of the biggest events. I think पूरे साल के top 5 के top 3 में I would put it. Yes, it will be a 4. So 92 wins the rook and wins the game. Piece up for black. So you can't come back. And that means, yeah, knight c4 played by the way by Arvind. Great move. And a rook f2 only move played by Gukesh. But now rook e8, best move played by Arvind. And Gukesh under huge pressure now. Because now knight e2 is a threat. Forking again because rook controls e2. And rook e1 check aa raha hai, followed by rook a1 in some cases. And also the king is kind of weirdly placed, right? Rook e1 check, king h2, like it's a bit shaky. Like knight, I don't know, knight e3, knight f1 check maybe, like could be weird, or even just trying to push the b pawn, b4 at some point. Just staying ready for the race, which could happen. So some pressure. And I think Gukesh has no time. Still 2 more moves to go. Like he could lose this. He could have a losing position in 2 moves if he doesn't play it carefully. Okay. 15 seconds. Come on. 10, 9, 8. Played king h2 with 8 seconds on the clock. Not the best move, but not the worst either. And now knight e2 apparently is the best. Attacking the rook, attacking the pawn. Not an easy one to find, I must admit. Let's have a look. So knight e2. What if I just move the rook? First of all, chat, very important. If you take this pawn, come on, chat. Black to play. What is the move? What is the problem with knight rook takes g6? He finds 92. Why Arvind playing some amazing chess? Look at Gukesh. He suddenly realizes by last move to time. Yes, Gukesh is made. It's literally made, chat. So huge pressure. You can't take the pawn. And rook d3 only move for Gukesh. By 40th move, only one move. I think Gukesh could lose this. एक चाल है उसके पास 5 सेकंड 4 सेकंड 3 सेकंड 2 No, he just blundered. Gukesh just blundered the game. It's over. Wow. Wow. Gukesh has blundered. It's insane. Wow, can't believe it. Can't believe it. Gukesh don't lose again. He's going to be the last ranked player at Prague Masters if Arvind can find knight to e3. I think he will. Look at Arvind's body language. He can sense it. And the 40th move पे blunder हुआ chat. And let's have a look. First of all, even b4 is winning. But that's just insane. But let's play 93. And now you have locked the white king. All these 4 squares are covered. And rook h8 checkmate is incoming. There is no defense. For example, you might play the g pawn by kahin pe, but g2 square is also covered. The king cannot escape. It's mate. You have to take here, rook takes e2, and very important, knight g4 check. Yahan pe. Now king g3, rook takes e2. I think, okay, मुझे knight मिल गया वापस king g4, but rook takes g2 check, king h4, and rook takes a2 now. Oh, wait. Rook a2 is a draw. Oh, you have to first play b4. Okay, it's still tricky. You cannot take the pawn directly, but it's not that difficult to understand for somebody like Arvind. Wow, Gukesh is losing. I cannot believe this, bhai. Chal kya raha hai, bhai? Gukesh Dommaraju is losing again. And I think he's going to be -3 at the Prague Masters. समय भाई कुछ कहना चाहते हो क्या भाई? मन में कुछ आराम आ रहा है आपके? भाई राकेश भाई कहाँ है यार? कुछ बातें कर रही थी उनके साथ. भाई this is insane. And now 93 is the winning move भाई. खत्म. साथ में आ जाओ 5 मिनट. कुछ बातें सुननी थी आपसे भाई. भाई ये क्या है भाई? 40th move curse. Of course it is यार. I think Arvind has 9 minutes, man. Come on, like even I would come up with 93 in 9 minutes. करके देखो. Not important, I think. If he's sleeping, I don't think this game will last as long. But like, I just wanted to get his opinion if he's awake. But एक text कर दो मेरे ख्याल से बस. Text is easy ताकि वो उठे ना. Arvind is even taking his time, bro. Of course he will. I think. I mean, it's understanding. 93 के बाद you're controlling all these squares. Like it's just you're setting the white king in a cage, and mouse trap की तरह फंसा दिया है गुकेश king को पूरा. -4, yeah. I mean, it's still not over, but over, I mean, like there's a chance Arvind goes wrong, but the problem is he's going to gain 30 minutes on the clock now. So, wow. I am in shock, actually. I'm in complete shock. By the way, meanwhile, Divya has 15 seconds to play 8 moves, but she's very close to a draw. I think this one will be a draw. Chat, this will be a draw. Very comfortable draw. Oh, look at her opponent. He's like, bro, I thought I got this, but I didn't. So Divya will hold the draw. That's, I think, pretty king f2 maybe even works, but bishop f2 just is easy. Yeah. So Divya will draw this. Surya, meanwhile, will also draw this. Yes, rook endgame aane wali hai. So, they drew. Yes, Surya already drew. Khatam. So, two draws and win for Aravindh. By the way, he's about to play. Duki needs takes a break. I have to agree now, Vikas Bhai. I mean, he has to take a break now, I think. I think now there is no doubt about it. He needs to. And his next event, I think, is in May, if I'm not mistaken. So there is enough time. Wow, man. I can't believe this. I can't believe this, actually. I mean, I can believe he blundered in this position. That's logical. Like, it was tough. But the fact that he's in the situation is so hard to believe. And now after losing, he's gonna lose to Aravindh, who's like lower rated. So he'll lose like almost 6 points. Gukesh will go down to 2728, and he will be world number 20 behind Richard Rapport and ahead of Hans Niemann. And if Hans were to win, while Divya has drawn, kya nahi? Oh yeah, Divya has drawn. Wow. So after f3, rook a2, king f1, Divya has also drawn. So two results coming in very quickly for India. Now only one game remains, chat. So Surya has drawn, Divya has drawn. Now the only game that remains is the World Champions game, and I think we know what's going to happen here. His time has been horrible. I think there's no way to put it. It's just not been ideal. We already discussed this earlier. Last game, if he had 5 more minutes, he would have likely won that game. Forget drawing. So what time is a big issue. I think sometimes he thinks the position is gonna be simplified and he might not need the time later, but somehow then the position complicates because Rukesh ka na style bhi aisa hai. He goes for the complications if he gets them. So it's kind of paradoxical. Like if he thinks okay, time आगे चाहिए नहीं होगा. By the way, he has a great team of seconds and coaches. They are the ones who helped him win the world championship. So there is evidence to back that. I think it's just ki, as Sahaj also mentioned, a mix of multiple elements. I think it's his confidence is very low. I think that's one of the main reasons. And time management usually खराब तब होती है जब confidence खराब होता है because you doubt your calculations um, and the more you blunder, the more you doubt it, the more you are low on clock, and the more you blunder. It's a loop, yeah. Wow, I'm in shock by. I was sick the entire day. I couldn't breathe properly, and still, this is somehow more surprising. Insane. Was Mukesh on break before this? You can't be. I mean, was he on a break? He played Tata Steel, which was a heavy event. Then he played World Rapid and Blitz, right? Did he play World Rapid and Blitz? I think he did. Yeah, he did. उससे पहले क्या था event? I think it wasn't really a full World Cup. It wasn't really a full-on break. Like he had an event every month. So and also these events last very long. Yeah, Tata Steel was like 15-day event. So I wouldn't say it's been a rest for Gukesh. Not a long rest at least. And Aravindh now has 4 minutes. He's one win move away from a win. Kya perfect timing. And if Aravindh had like 2 minutes on the clock for this move, he might have missed it. But it's just perfectly, the stars are aligning and he's managed his clock well and he's being rewarded for it. I think against Hans, it felt like luck had more to do with it. But here, I think he's just played the better chess. You are a great commenter. क्या हुआ भाई? Viral? नहीं viral नहीं यार. Actually, I've had cold for a month. So I shifted from Delhi to Panvel, hoping for cleaner air. But unfortunately, the Delhi air followed me here. And एक महीने से I've had a minor cold and आज ज़्यादा खतरनाक हो गया था यार. So couldn't really breathe properly. Feeling extremely tired. But hopefully get better by tomorrow. Thanks for Saj for coming by. वरना तो आज की stream तो ऐसी हो जाती. क्योंकि gain some weight भाई. ये कहाँ से आ गया? MVL defeated Nihal. Wait, I just thought somebody said Nihal defeated MVL. Divya has drawn. Yes, Divya Surya draw. We already discussed that. Now it's the last game remaining. And by the way, look at this 93 on the board. Brilliancy by Aravindh Chithambaram, who's about to beat the world champion, I think. And Gukesh के emotions हमें I think बहुत जल्दी देखने को मिलेंगे chat. I mean he's reached the 40th move, so time is not a worry, but the position is just lost. It's over, I think. Wow. And he knows it. Like he knows it's lost because uh, like even in bullet chess, I think he will understand कि भाई the king has nowhere to go. So then he knows कि उसको rook sack देना है. And then it's all about calculating. See, this you can understand, right? Rook takes c3, rook takes e3 is a piece down. I'm likely not going to survive this. You can calculate, yeah, मतलब कुछ variations यहाँ पे, but you know you're not going to survive this. Next is rook takes c2. यही variation है बस. Rook takes c2, knight g4 check, king g3, rook takes, king takes, rook takes, and this is all you have to calculate. King h4 and now b4. And itna aapne dekh liya, you're winning. So white has to wait here. If we kind of go through the motions, right? What can white do? Agar rook yahan khelte ho, then I think king can walk up, is my guess. So you have to play king h3, for example, to attack the rook here, ask questions ki kahan jaoge. But now I can take because the king is not coming to g5. So you're in kind of some sort of zugzwang here, actually, if you think about it carefully. If you play rook h3, for example, trying to just keep everything protected, then again I can take because the pawn has advanced one square, king g5, rook check, and this is just gone. Pawn promotes. Like this is, the Gukesh knows it's lost. Look at him, yeah? He knows. Gukesh, parents say baat kara do, please. I mean, come on, yeah. They must be under a lot of pressure. They've given India something to celebrate. Something great to celebrate over the last 2 years. And I think nobody wants Sukesh to win more than his parents. So of course they'll be helping him wherever it's needed. Nihal tied for title. That's amazing. Nihal is in great form. By the way, if there's one Indian who's in form in 2026, it's Nihal. He's the one Indian who's been in great form this year. So at least there's something to cherish. What happened to my boy Tikuba? Is he trying to change his playing style? I would say I think it's multiple factors. It's multiple factors. It's tiredness, first of all, not just for him, but for all Indian players. They've played so much because they've been playing so well that they've been getting invites to every tournament in the world. So people know कि top 10 में 3 या 4 Indian है. That means कि Indians को तो invite करना ही है. So then tiredness. Then uske baad, it's also the amount of time. So Gukesh becoming the world champion has to do media appearances. He has to, he has brand deals to give time to. Then of course, maybe he's not working as hard as he was earlier. Maybe there's a 5% difference there. So 5% wahan se aa gaya. Then, of course, is the form. So you lose one event, like, you need a win in the next one. And because you're the world champion, then the fourth point comes in. It's the pressure of being the world champion. All the eyes are on you. Every game you play is watched carefully. Like, in fact, when I wake up in the morning, I will have this notification, of some news article. Gukesh loses again, Gukesh this, Gukesh that. So, ये पहले उतना cover करते ही थे लोग. So, every game he plays, he's being watched. And he knows that, right? कि दुनिया देख रही है. So, even if he might not get affected, it will affect him subconsciously a bit. So, multiple ये 4-5 factors ऐसे combine कर दो, it becomes like a problem. So, he needs to tackle them all. Divya's game was a draw, by the way. Divya defended very well in time pressure. Yeah, you can see him, yeah? He's devastated, actually. Wow. Yeah, he cannot believe it. He cannot believe it, actually, that he's lost again. And Chad, can you look at the standings once, just for like 2 seconds? Just to highlight how badly this tournament has gone. Aravindh is going to win. He's going to go to 2.5. Hans Niemann, by the way, I think is at least going to draw. Okay, it's complicated, but I think he's going to draw. So that means Gukesh will be the only one on 1.5 points in last place. So it's gonna be really, really hard to digest that. And with 3 rounds to go, he's not making it to even top 7. So going back to the cameras, let's see what Gukesh does. I don't think he'll resign. He must be crying. I think you're right there. Usually, chat cricket में क्या होता है ना? Any sport you look at, football, cricket, it's a team sport. You can literally get, bowled out for 0. Hashtag Abhishek Sharma या जो भी उसका नाम है, but still win the match. But chess में if you are not doing well, you have no chance. वतना की 10% किसी नहीं मिल जाए, बात सही है अंशुल भाई, ये तो है. But okay, Wicket got the $1 million, yeah, I mean, World Championship. Of course, he had to spend a lot, but yeah. Um, and have some rest. I mean, he needs. I mean, he's gonna play a couple of moves. He will, because there's a chance of going wrong, right? So we saw this variation chat. So rook e2, knight g4, king yahan, rook se rook, king se knight, rook check, king h4, and now black could go wrong with rook takes a2. That would be a huge blunder. Now rook g3, and it's again draw. So Gukesh should try this out at least. So he will not resign. There's still a possibility Aravindh goes wrong. He will not go wrong, I know, but like Gukesh will not resign basically. Because you see, he plays on because it's obvious. And he also played quickly because there was nothing else to calculate. Like there was nothing else to do. Like there's only one variation in the board, and even I will calculate this. So rook takes c2. I mean, I might blunder rook takes a2, that's possible, but ये इतना समझ में आ रहा है कि भाई क्या चल रहा है. Knight g4 check played. Now, of course, you take the knight. Rook takes e2 now. And king h4, that's the main move. Rook takes a2 नहीं मारना है. Rook takes g2 मारना है. Very important. b4 is winning because आपका pawn queening square के एक square में पास आ गया. And white के पास move ही नहीं है. तुम समझ रहे हो? Like white cannot improve, but you can improve. So you improve your pieces as much as possible. And then you take on a2 because then आपका pawn queen से एक square पास है. So उस रेस में आपको एक एक्स्ट्रा कदम मिल गया. Now look at the Bjerre, only move. This is completely winning. All Aravindh has to do is play b4 and Gukesh is done. It's over. It's possible then he could resign. Like maybe he will not, but he could resign. It should not be too far-fetched. Aravindh will not miss b4. I would be genuinely shocked. I mean, Aravindh is a very strong player. He's in the worst form he's had in the last 365 days. But even in that form, like he's not missing this. Yeah, you see, it's impossible. He misses this. He plays b4. And Gukesh is now lost. And with this, Gukesh ki rating or rank is going to be world number 20. It's seriously painful, to be honest, to see him suffer like this. I'm sure the pain for him is much worse. But yeah, it's hard to imagine like Gukesh struggling like this. भाई मैं क्या डिफेंड कर रहा हूँ भाई, मैं तो कह रहा हूँ कि इट्स पेनफुल, और क्या बोलूं. भाई पेनफुल तो है ना भाई. And meanwhile, Divya becomes stronger as a player last year because no, I mean, I think Divya has found a formula which is working for her. Basically, she'll play some very strong events like Tata Steel Challengers ho gaya, ya Chennai GM Challengers. She didn't play Chennai GM Challengers, but okay, like she'll play some strong open event, train herself, maybe not have the best event, but then she will crush it in women's events. I think that's the formula which has been working for her very, very well. And this is exactly what she did here. And her performance here has been much better than any open challenger event she's played before. So it feels like she's in the best form of her life. And Candidate's chances kafi high honge. Now, of course, there are other stronger players there, so it's not going to be super easy. But yeah, because first place matters, right? I mean, Candice may only first place matters. That's the problem. Like second, third place, because it gets nothing. So looking at that, it's still not going to be easy, but she has good chances. Why is okay to not winning? So let's have a look. Okay. First of all, ये position है. Okay. Now white cannot improve. What is white's move? If you push this pawn, f5, I will, trade and just take the a2 pawn. I have the pawn, you don't, you lose, right? So that means f5 नहीं खेल सकते. Your king cannot move up to attack the pawn. Both squares are covered. Your rook cannot come here because I will take, and I think the endgame is winning for me. Rook g3, for example, our king ने time waste किया है. I will take, and this endgame, this race, we can actually play it out if needed. And I queen first and I'm winning. So that means आप improvement नहीं कर सकते इस position में. And if you look at this position, let's say I take on a2, already rook g3. I'm threatening to take this pawn. So let's say you play b4, I will take this pawn, you play b3, and now it depends. I think you can just put the rook on b6, let's say, b2, and f5. And my pawn is also queening now. So you can try to save this, yeah, like king a3, f6, rook k1, and suddenly mera pawn bhi queen ho raha hai. You have to be very, very careful here. So in this position, however, after b4, वो एक move आगे आ चुका है, and now white cannot do anything. So extra move है मेरे पास एक. So rook g3 नहीं मिल रहा है उसको, white को. He should change his coach now. No, I think he should get some extra help for sure on what's going wrong, if it's possible. But I think his team has really done a great job over the years. They understand him well. That's sometimes more important than मीटअप करो यार भाई. मैं घर से निकलने का मौका ही नहीं मिलता भाई. मैं घर से, मैं डॉक्टर के पास जाना है, उसके पास जाने का, घर से निकलने का मौका तो मिले. करेंगे भाई, कभी करेंगे. आई थिंक द बेस्ट मीटअप इज एट टूर्नामेंट्स, लाइक चाहे वो गोवा में हो या मुंबई में हो, जो भी टूर्नामेंट्स जैसे होते हैं ना, when we actually have on-site commentary, that is the best meetup because you actually get to see an event also. He seems to be truly broken. Yeah, that's true. That's true. जेट्स किड्स को जी लगता है कुछ ज्यादा ही कुछ फूक फूक लिया आपने. रिलैक्स करे लाइफ में भाई. अरविंद का एक वन ब्लिंट इज इनफ भाई. ही प्लेड इट व्हेन इट वाज इंपॉर्टेंट. यार मतलब एक अगर लास्ट ओवर है तो एक छक्का भी काफी है गेम जीतने के लिए. Why Indian players face Indian? It's a round robin tournament because I mean it doesn't matter. Yeah, Indian हो या ना हो, chess is an individual sport. So उसमें Indians का Indian से हो रहा है, it's gonna happen. Like it's not about the flag. हर किसी का हर किसी से मैच होगा. इवेंट में वी आर बिजी. अरे भाई इवेंट में बिजी नहीं होते भाई, मजा आता है. इनफैक्ट बहुत कैजुअल होता है. अरे कितने चिल करते हो. लुक एट, ओह दैट्स पेनफुल. यू कैन सी हिम रियलाइज इट्स ओवर. एंड अरविंद ने कोई मौका नहीं दिया. मीटअप इज बेस्ट इन कोलकाता. हाँ बेटे भाई, तुम्हारी ड्राइविंग को भी मैं रेट करता हूँ 10 में से. लास्ट में कहाँ कहाँ खेले थे आप भाई? लास्ट में कोई रैपिड टूर्नामेंट खेला था मैं. आई थिंक आई डू प्ले रैपिड इवेंट्स. आई थिंक 2025 मार्च में लास्ट खेला था मैं शायद, समथिंग लाइक दैट. इट्स बीन अ लॉन्ग व्हाइल. बट इंडिया में रेटिंग घटती रहती है. अरे देयर आर किड्स हु आर वेरी वेरी अंडररेटेड, सो इट्स पेनफुल. जस्ट लाइक गुकेश यहाँ पे. अच्छी तो चलाई थी भाई. अच्छी इज अ बिग स्टेटमेंट भाई. आई थिंक ठीक थी भाई, ठीक थी. सिद्धार्थ निहाल ऑन गोइंग. Oh, crazy. He should bang the table now. Why? That would be a clip. But I think Gukesh is much calmer. And this wasn't a surprise. Like he saw it coming after 92. So you can see, oh, this is painful. This is painful. This is really painful. Wow. Wow. This is really painful. Gukesh realizing he's losing, okay, not being able to handle it actually. And I mean, it's so understandable. Chess is sometimes so brutal, yeah. He's trying to find a defense, but it doesn't exist. There is no defense, unfortunately, chat. Wow, crazy. I wonder, like, what was the advice his team offered? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, what was the discussion like? It would be really interesting to, like, ऐसे drive to survive होता है ना? You get to enter the thought process sometimes. Like, क्या discussion चल रहे हैं? Like, would be crazy to have it for chess in some shape, like trying to enter their minds and understand. Okay, still no moves. Gukesh, unfortunately, is completely lost, chat. You can see him looking towards the right, but there is no coming back from this. And it's not gonna get easy, unfortunately. The tournament is still strong and still 3 more rounds to go. So the misery continues for Gukesh, and it's not over. Still can't believe it, actually. Wow. Chad, if you would tell Gukesh one inspirational word right now, what would it be? Like, if you were genuinely positive and wanted him to kind of cheer, like, is there something you would tell him if you could? Like, this could be a nice thing. Who knows? Maybe someday he or one of his team members will see it, like something positive. But I think it's just so hard on a chess player when you lose like this, because you feel like, yeah, nothing is working. I've tried this, it's not working. I've tried this. भाई ओपनिंग से लेके अपनी शर्ट तक सब चेंज कर लिया, लेकिन कुछ भी सोल्यूशन नहीं। रिमेंबर चैट, किसी ने नेपो और मैग्नस की वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप देखी है क्या? Like, after Nepo lost the first game, he literally like cut off his जो चोटी उनकी बालों की थी, and he came with a new hairstyle, with a new look. Like, it's always like that. Yeah, people want to change everything, and nothing worked for him, and he was like miserable in the entire world championship. So it just, pain is extremely hard to handle. Still can't believe Gukesh lost so many games, man. It's so hard to believe it. And Chad, just wanna lay out something very important here. Gukesh, I'm going through his results. In this event, he has had 3 draws, and this will be his third loss. And the next 3 opponents, look at this, are Parham Maghsoodloo, Vincent Keymer, and David Anton. So अगले दोनों opponents तो at least 2700 हैं. In fact, he also plays Vincent. He's yet to play Vincent. So this is, I mean, I'm not even sure if the trauma has ended. Yeah, like he needs to somehow gather the courage to come back now. I don't think Christian was that Ding. I disagree with that. I think Ding couldn't get to play professional chess for years, like 2, 3 years. Like he was completely out of play. Mukesh has no such limitations right now, so he can take steps to solve his problems. Ding unfortunately had other problems, so he couldn't really work on them. Still can't believe it. I think he knows. I think he knows it's over. It's just about, yeah. Okay, he plays rook e3, and now I think rook a2, just taking the pawn, is very simple. And now it's very important for Arvind. He cannot wait anymore, because white realizes I can't play rook g3, so I have to attack the pawn from here. That's the only other path. So if you wait for a move in any shape, I think rook e6 is a draw. I think so. There's no way to wait actually, because if you go here, then king g5. If you go here, then like wait. If you go here, then what do you play? Rook g1, rook e7. Rook e7, and you save the pawn simply. Okay, Yeah, that's a draw. So only one move, I think, is rook takes it, but he knows it's winning. No, Arvind is not sad for Gukesh. I mean, he's, of course, maybe, but Arvind himself has not had the ideal event, yeah? And that's why I think Magnus is the GOAT. He did not just win the world championship, he stayed at the top for more than a decade. So I think reaching the top is, of course, difficult, but staying there is actually the tough part. And I know Yash is saying, and it's a fair point, ki, to be honest, Ukesh wasn't playing great chess at the world championship. I think it's the pressure. Like world championship mein na, the first time you play, you will see these errors. So he wasn't playing at his peak, but he was still playing good chess. Like you could understand. Like Magnus ne kaha tha, Ukesh played okay, not so well, but then Ukesh came back. So I think जब भी must win tha, he would come back and strike against Ding. And Ding was playing some good chess. Like we were all impressed by how well he's playing. So I think nerves की वजह से पहला world championship 18-year-old understandable. But of course, this is quite different. And yeah, okay, he goes for rook g3. So he will get the pawn chat. But by the way, only two moves now. If you play b3 here and try to queen, it's actually a draw. After rook g6, somehow white's pawn is far advanced enough that it's a draw. So only two moves possible. So not still very clear. So one is rook f2. You try to win this pawn, and it just makes it difficult, right? Because king yahan aaya, so I can't really take the pawn with the king, right? Because I will take this. So this is the winning move, and this just seals the deal. It's over, and Ukesh will resign. Or second move maybe a bit more complicated is rook a1, with the idea that rook g6 ke baad, you will have rook h1 check, king g5, rook g1 check, king h5. You will take the rook. Okay, not this. You will take the rook, and you will play, and this comes with check essentially. So f5, b2, f6, and this is check. अगर चेक नहीं आती f7 के बाद, I think it's a draw, because ये चैट जो चेस बिगनर्स हैं, you might love to know कि जो ये c और f files होती हैं, sometimes this endgame can be a draw here, because the white king has this option. I'll show it to you. So let's say king g7 and I don't save it. Yeah, I allow you to come here. And now basically it's a draw because there is no way it will happen something like this. Check here. And this is where after king b1 and king g8 and queen b1, white will not go here, but just go here because this pawn you can't take. It's stalemate. So, but in this case, it's winning, of course. So let's see how that. HNA, yes, HNA also, but I think HNA, it's more clearer. Like this one is always tricky because there are certain zones jahan pe it's winning. If the black king is close enough, it's winning. So it's very complicated. Mukesh, by the way, looking at the screen, rook f2, beautiful move by Arvind, man. Absolutely no calculation needed. And Gukesh can now officially resign. I think he's going to resign now. Yeah, he can resign. There is no point in playing it. It's completely over. Just brutal chess by Arvind at the end. And today, for the first time in this event, I think Arvind has looked like the better player. There was no doubt. And he fully deserves this win. Like, there's no doubt he played better chess today. I think that a4 move maybe allowed Gukesh some chances back, so he will go back and see how he could have, converted that better. But overall, great chess by Arvind, and that 40th move, unfortunate blunder by Gukesh, and hoping he comes back. And I mean, if he wins the last 3 rounds, okay, I said last time, last 4 round, but yeah, if he can somehow do that, that will change matters. But for now, Gukesh is losing. And yeah, tomorrow it's Maghsoodloo, so it doesn't get easy. भाई 27 player लगे हुए लाइन से. Wow. Tikku is reading. अरे बढ़िया भाई. Thanks भाई. Speak carefully. He wasn't playing that best ever. It was good. No, yeah, I think now it's looking back, you can say that, but I disagree with that completely. भाई. Olympiad में क्या खेला था भाई Gukesh? Like काँप रहे थे भाई. In that form, like you have Gukesh as Magnus, like you don't know who wins. ऐसी form में था वो तब. So I completely disagree on that one though. Current form, I agree with you. That form, no. Find someone who defends you like Tikubai. I don't know anyway. I think you should find a partner who cares for you. I think in general, that's more important. ज़्यादा नहीं हुआ एक्चुअली. मुकेश की फॉर्म ओलंपियाड में अलग ही थी. Like it was crazy. Like 8 on 8 था भाई. And Magnus does lose in the Olympiad sometimes because it's like he has to push for the win sometimes because बाकी team member weak है उसके. So he's not just playing a normal chess game, right? So he lost to Fedosiev in the Olympiad. So Gukesh से क्यों नहीं? Let's see what happens. Mukesh has a long year ahead. Yeah, it's important, but this is going to be a huge, huge pain point for him. And I think it's very important to go back to the drawing board and find out what is going wrong because, I mean, only he and his team can figure that out. Mukesh started practicing faster format. That's an important observation, but I don't think that can harm. I mean, it can temporarily harm your classical chess. Maybe if you think about it, you might play moves quickly, but that's not what's happening, right? He's in fact taking more time to think. In fact, time pressure is the reason he lost the last game, and it's, to be honest, the reason he lost today. He made the run of the 40th move. So if he had more time then, he would have saved this game likely. So I would argue it's the exact opposite. He should practice more faster control so that he plays faster. Match is also not very long, right? Grand Swiss. Yeah, Grand Swiss was the. I think Grand Swiss Pele, he was still having a decent year. Tata Steel tied first, and couple of GCT events he had good results, couple didn't. But after, I think since Grand Swiss, like it's been a nightmare for Indian players in general. Apart from a couple of medals by Arjun and the World Updates, it's been a nightmare. And of course, Samirana Super POC champion. I think let's not forget that one. But yeah. If Ding was bhai, it's too early to say. Let's just wait. In case Hikaru will not be moved, there is no chance. Even if Kramnik's quote is correct, पहली बार जिंदगी में, I still feel कि it depends on. मतलब मैं अगर होता नोदरबेक और मुझे पता लगता कि भाई technically I should get a chance to play. I am in the peak form of my life. Of course, I will fight for it. So like there's 100% I'll fight for it. Like I'll at least contact Fede and ask, bhai, is this tournament legit? Will it be counted? Why was this counted? So if that's the case, then of course I'll figure it out. And if something needs to be done, it needs to be done. But we don't have the complete information, so let's just wait for it. But candidates, lots of ifs and buts. Of course, the things that are happening in the world right now with some political issues, as we know, and also of course this now coming up. But it only makes the candidates more dramatic. At least ये जो नया वाला drama है. Let's see. Show leaderboard. Do you really want to see the leaderboard? Really, Kshitij, I'm not sure. Maybe after this game ends, yeah, that will be better. Why is Gukesh very declining? I think we discussed this, multiple reasons. You can go back and check like 10 minutes, but I think his team will have to now sit down and figure out, because you can only guess, yeah. He advantage was no. I would disagree, Dijo. I brand deals will always take up some time, and it will divert your attention. There is no doubt about it. But it's a good thing because he can compensate that time, right? So, for example, somebody who gets a brand deal, I don't know how much money Gukesh got from it, but let's assume X amount. He can use that, a part of that X amount or complete X amount, to get better at the game by getting coaching, for example. So you might lose a couple of days a month to content and brand deals or whatever it is, but you can gain that time back by investing that part of that money back. So while it could be like 5% of the reason, like it's and not even close to the main reason why he's struggling right now. And Rook F1, by the way, played by uh, Arvind, very smart move. For example, chat, if you play यहाँ पे B3, I think it's very obvious what White's idea is. F5 check, and I draw the game. And if you play, let's say, king to a3, I think it was also possible, but maybe he was worried about king g3, rook f1, king g2, and just winning the pawn. And he has to now calculate, which is irritating. So he wanted to avoid all that. He just plays rook f1, very clean. And now if king g3, he can just take the rook. So it's just over now. And if king g5, then maybe king a3 and start pushing the pawn, and white's pawn is just faster. Let's have a look, by the way. King g5. I can't go b3 just yet. So king a3. King takes g6. b3. And now I can't stop this pawn, right? I can't stop this pawn because if I play f5, then this can't be stopped. So I have to stop this pawn now with rook g3. But now I can just take. So you can't stop this pawn and save this pawn essentially. There is no way. Wow. What like great calculation by Aravindh, like giving him no chance. Sahaj Bhai should join this second. I mean, for sure, but I think Sahaj Bhai will miss as a commentator. No, हमें चाहिए यार. Sorry, Ukesh, you can't have him. David Nazara नहीं है भाई. David Navara है भाई, Nazara नहीं है. Damn. Bhai, that was insane. Nodirbek result. That's a good question. What happened to Nodirbek's game? That Jordan drew against Navara, Yakubboev drew against Nodirbek, and Masters and Baki game mate David Anton and Parham Maghsoodloo are drawing. Hans Niemann and Vincent Keymer are also drawing. Okay, it's still complicated, this one. You can see the stare from Vincent. So it's anybody's game, but let's assume a draw for now because it is close to equal. So very likely all the games in the Masters will be a draw today. Only Gukesh loses and Aravindh wins. That's the only difference. By the way, after rook f1, king g5 was played. So he goes for the pawn. But again, king a3, excellent move. And there's no time to take because if we take b3 and I'm queening. So Gukesh about to resign, chat, in the next 2 to 3 minutes. विंसन को ठंड क्यों लग रही है भाई? ठंड है वहां पे भाई. He's in Europe. You can look at Gukesh chat. He's looking at the camera. He's looking in the background, but he's not able to look at the board because the position is lost and it's causing him a lot of pain. This is his third loss in 6 games against players who are mostly been lower rated than him. And yeah, Gukesh resigns. There it is. The world champion resigns yet again, this time against Aravindh Chithambaram, another Indian. He signs a score sheet, but as you can see, he was in a hurry to get out from there. He's not happy with what just happened. If you can remove the board for a second, Gukesh walks out hurriedly from the tournament hall. We can see Abhida running after him. And Aravindh Chithambaram, what a game, yeah? He just outplayed the world champion today and gets a much, much needed win with the black pieces. Gains some rating points, but oh my, is Gukesh under pressure now, likely going to be last in the standings. This is insane. Wow. Yeah, he didn't arrange the pieces. That is great observation. Usually Gukesh always arranges the pieces, but he doesn't do so now. That is insane observation. And I think they sign kiya opponent ki score sheet. हाँ. Wow. 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 Insane. So इसके साथ ही Gukesh Dommaraju loses. Can we have a look at the standings now for a second just to understand कि क्या situation है? And there you see it. Gukesh in second last place, and Aravindh, congrats to him for winning today. But he's likely going to be in last place because Hans Niemann is going to draw at least. And just one look at the Hans Niemann. By the way, the challenges as well. just to understand where Divya is. Does she have any chances? I think one guy is running away with the event. I think Vaclav is. Uh, did he lose today or what happened? I'm checking. He's still playing. Okay, so I think could change, but Divya in fourth place, so doing well. Her tiebreak seems to be amazing. So congrats to Divya there. But yeah, and Surya also getting out from last place. That's always a good feeling, and he can get a couple of wins in the last 3 rounds, and he could finish off in the top half. So that's great news as well. And yeah, unfortunately, Mukesh, it's not looking great. So let's go back just one look at the hands game to understand whether Gukesh will finish in last place or not. Hans Niemann. Yeah, I think this was a brilliancy. Rook c4 by Hans Niemann. So feels like he's playing some amazing moves. Likely to at least hold this. So Gukesh Dommaraju is likely going to be in last place. Chat, आज मेरी तबीयत बहुत खराब थी. And yes, Gukesh is world number 20 indeed. And going to be world number 21. Wow. If Hans wins, it's just insane. Wow, just can't believe it, man. Just can't believe it. Unbelievable. But yeah, chat, we're going to see you tomorrow with hopefully better health for me, and Rakesh Bhai will be there. And tomorrow we're going to follow if Gukesh can strike a comeback, and of course, very important for Divya last year before the candidates. And let's see what happens. Thank you, chat, for joining. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a good night. It's exactly midnight. Bye bye.